Chapter 197. Master, I have something to talk to you about. Longao, who was running, heard Long Fu's call. He was puzzled, wondering why Long Fu would call him at this time. However, Longao was very clear that every time Long Fu took the initiative to look for him, it was definitely a good thing. It was precisely because of this that Longao found a secluded and very secretive place to hide. Ice Soul, Brother Linghu, I have something urgent. Help me guard. The two of them were surprised, but they did not ask. As friends, they knew what to ask and what not to ask. So, the two of them stood guard beside Longao. With the protection of Linghu Ning and Ice Soul, Longao was relieved. His soul connected with the dragon seal and entered the dragon seal space. Inside the dragon seal space, Long Fu, what's the matter? Yes, Master. Originally, I wanted to give you this divine weapon when your strength reached a certain level. But now, it seems that you are in danger. With a divine weapon, you can at least save your life. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao was surprised. What kind of divine weapon was this? Master, look. Taking the mirror in Long Fu's hand, Longao saw that it was only the size of a palm, with two sides. The front side was engraved with strange patterns. As soon as he touched it, he felt a mysterious power from the mirror. Master, this divine weapon is called the God-punishing mirror. The two sides represent the two extremes of yin and yang. The God-punishing mirror can change the flow of time. I have tried my best, but I can change the flow of time for 3 seconds at most. Change the flow of time? Although he didn't know what Long Fu meant, Longao was very clear that the mirror in his hand was definitely not simple. Thinking about it, how could the mirror that Long Fu called a divine tool be an ordinary thing? Master, both sides of the God-punishing mirror can change the flow of time. The yang side can move time forward by 3 seconds. As for the yin side, it can rewind time by 3 seconds. Ferociously swallowing his own saliva, Longao's face was already shocked beyond compare. He changed the flow of time. The yang side could move time forward by 3 seconds, while the yin side could move time back by 3 seconds. If Long Fu hadn't told him personally, Longao wouldn't have believed it. Long Fu, how should I use this God-punishing mirror? He seemed a bit impatient. After all, the God Judgment Mirror was far too heaven-defying. If he used the God Judgment Mirror, then let alone instantly killing a martial artist on the same level, even jumping ranks to fight wouldn't be a problem. Then, Long Fu taught Longao how to use the God-punishing mirror. Master, the God-punishing mirror is extremely powerful. It even surpasses the God Sealing Pearl. In other words, no matter how powerful an enemy you encounter is, even if it's an emptiness sovereign or a higher powerhouse, you can still change the flow of time. Like this, even if you can't beat them, you'll still have enough time to escape. Escape. For a martial artist, although escaping wasn't something to be proud of, Longao knew that where there was life, there was hope. After listening to Long Fu's words, Longao was extremely excited. If that was the case, wouldn't he be invincible with the God-punishing mirror? Without continuing to speak with Long Fu, Longao's soul left the dragon seal space. He glanced at Linghu Ning and Ice Soul and said, "Wait for me here. I'll go meet Du Yunxian and Du Heshuan." Hearing Longao's words, the two were shocked. Ice Soul said, "Brother Long, you can't do that. According to legends, Du Yunxian and Du Heshuan's cultivation have already reached the earthly sovereign realm. If you go alone, won't it be very dangerous?" How could Longao not know about Ice Soul's worries? Longao smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'm confident." Without giving the two people any chance to speak, Longao's body had already scurried out, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. "Brother Linghu, Brother Long will be fine, right?" Ice Soul's face was filled with worry. "Is this your first day meeting Brother Long?" "Don't worry, if Brother Long is so confident, he'll be fine." "Ice Soul, I want to ask you, have you fallen in love with Brother Long?" Ice Soul's body trembled. She didn't know why Linghu Ning would ask her a question at a time like this. Shaking her head, Ice Soul said, "Brother Long and I are just friends." "Ice Soul, you can fool me but you can't fool your heart." "Ice Soul, as a friend, I just want to give you a piece of advice. Don't get too close to Longao because you're not suitable for him and he's not suitable for you. I don't want to see you sad in the future. Ice Soul trembled again, but she didn't say anything. Wu Yang chose to remain silent. Ling Hu Ning sighed deeply. This is what he feared the most. Longao didn't know about Ice Soul's thoughts. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so close to her. In Longao's heart, there are only two women. The first is Yu Yin Wang, who stuck with him for 10 years. She didn't give up on him and even destroyed her image for him. The second is Aoshue, the first woman in his life. Both women are the same. If you don't give up on me, I will stick with you through life and death. That's why Longao's heart can't hold anyone else. The best outcome is for Ice Soul to never say anything and for Longao to never know. Otherwise, one will have to leave while the other will have to grieve alone. Brother, this kid is really strong. Soul attack. Alright, don't tell anyone about this. Remember, don't be an idiot. No matter what, we must get the soul attack cultivation method. Greed was written all over Du Hushuan's and Du Yunchuan's faces. After all, both of them knew very well what a soul attack meant. Brother, what if this kid refuses to give us the soul attack cultivation method? Brother, your question really makes me speechless. Do you think he can refuse to give us the method just because he doesn't want to? I don't believe it. Du Hushuan's face was full of confidence. He had 100 ways to make Longao talk and hand over the soul attack cultivation method. If we can get the soul attack cultivation method and master it, we won't have to be afraid of a Dao ancestor. You two shameless bastards, you think you can learn soul attack cultivation method? Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian were stunned when they saw the black-clothed, white-haired youngster with a sneer on his face. Then, both of them burst into laughter. Du Yunxian said with a smile, Longao, I have to admire your courage. You really don't know the difference between life and death. Don't think that you are invincible just because you defeated Zhong Zhihang using unorthodox methods. I can tell you clearly that you are nothing in our eyes. Chapter 198. Shaking his head, Longao's face was full of disdain. With such an elder, the Blood Sea sect was not far from being destroyed. Longao, I'll give you a chance. As long as you hand over the cultivation method of the soul attack, I'll be magnanimous and let you go. In your dreams. Longao had already expected that the two of them would do this. After all, his soul attack was almost invincible. If his opponent was of the same level or a level higher, once his soul attack succeeded, he would definitely kill his opponent. Since you don't want to hand it over, I'll have to kill you first and slowly examine your soul. No matter what, they were both earthly emperors and elders of the Blood Sea sect. It was impossible for them to fight two against one. If this matter was accidentally leaked out, where would their face go? Where would Blood Sea sect's face go? Because of this, Du Yunxian chose to attack. The strength of an earthly emperor was obvious, so Du Yunxian was full of confidence. He didn't even need to use his full strength to easily kill his opponent and obtain the method of the soul attack. Longao didn't dare to be careless. When he punched out, he also activated the God-locking pearl. An invisible force spread out and instantly enveloped Du Yunxian. Du Yunxian, who was full of confidence, was surprised because he found that the space around him was frozen, and he was also locked. According to Longao's strength, the God-locking pearl could lock the opponent for 3 seconds at most. Longao was only a second transformation realm martial artist, while Du Yunxian was a genuine earthly emperor. The gap between the two was too big. Otherwise, the God-locking pearl alone would be enough to deal with Du Yunxian. Even so, Du Yunxian was shocked. Using all the strength in his body, he broke free in just 2 seconds. But at this time, Longao had already taken out the God-punishing mirror from his bosom. The God-punishing mirror wasn't very big. Du Yunxian and Du Hushuan couldn't see it at all. God-punishing mirror. Longao was looking forward to seeing how powerful the God-punishing mirror was. His soul power entered the God-punishing mirror and activated it instantly. Longao discovered one thing, and that was that any powerful divine item required a soul to activate, and the consumption was huge. The God-slaying mirror had 2 sides, yin and yang. The yang side could allow time to advance by 3 seconds, and as for the yin side, it could allow time to flow backward by 3 seconds. Longao first used the yang side of the God-punishing mirror. A strange power spread out, instantly changing the flow of time. Under Du Yunxuan's astonished gaze, he discovered that time had actually changed. It seemed to be moving forward. What exactly happened? At this moment, an even stranger and more shocking scene took place. Not only did time move forward, it even began to flow backward. Du Yunxian was completely stunned. Longao, you're courting death. Seeing his second brother standing there in a daze, Du Huxuan was surprised. Then, he chased after him. This was because Longao hadn't chosen to meet force with force. He had only come here to test out the might of the God Judgment Mirror. Now that he had tried it, he had truly experienced just how terrifying the might of the God Judgment Mirror was. Big brother, don't chase him. Looking at his second brother's shocked face, Du Huxuan asked in astonishment, Second brother, what happened? Were you hit by a soul attack again? Shaking his head, Du Huxuan was still unable to fathom how the other party had managed to accomplish such a feat. Thus, he recounted everything that had happened to him. After listening, Du Huxuan said with a smile, Second brother, I think you're too nervous. How is that possible? If this kid can change the flow of time, how could he only be in the transformation realm? Don't belittle yourself by praising others. Du Yunxian knew that his big brother wouldn't choose to believe him. Not to mention his big brother, even he found it hard to believe. However, he had indeed experienced the change of time. If it weren't for the fact that Longao was weak, he believed that he would have already died. Big brother, I'm not joking. Longao really did change the flow of time. Perhaps he was too weak, so he didn't attack. Otherwise, I would have died without a doubt. Du Huxuan, who didn't believe it at first, finally began to believe it after seeing his second brother's dignified face. However, he still asked again, Second brother, are you sure that Longao can change the flow of time? Nodding heavily, Du Yunxian said, It's true, big brother. If I'm not mistaken, the reason why Longao was able to defeat Zhong Zhihang and resist Zhong Mo's attack in the Ghost King sect, besides having a soul attack, I'm afraid that he can change the flow of time. Since his second brother had said so, even if Du Huxuan didn't want to believe it, he had to. Du Huxuan's face became extremely dignified because he knew very well what it meant to change the flow of time. Not to mention a small transformation realm martial artist, he believed that even the legendary world emperor couldn't do this. The 8 realms of nothingness were divided into the Disaster Realm, Venerable Realm, Supreme Realm, Earth Venerable Realm, Empyrean Realm, Great Venerable Realm, World King Realm, and World Emperor Realm. World Emperor was a legendary super powerhouse. Changing the flow of time was simply unheard of. He had never even heard of such a thing. Big brother, how did Longao do it? I don't know, but changing the flow of time is no small matter. We have to inform the master as soon as possible. If we can obtain the method to use a soul attack as well as the method to change the flow of time, I believe it will be a great help to our strength. Du Yunxian nodded. How could he not know what his big brother meant? Second brother, remember one thing. You absolutely cannot leak this out. Otherwise, it will be very troublesome. Big brother, I know. Whether it was a soul attack or changing the flow of time, once it was leaked out, it would definitely shock the entire Martial Sky continent. At that time, countless experts would come, not just from the 6 great sects, but also from the other 8 prefectures. They would all be looking for Longao. If that was the case, it would be very troublesome for the Blood Sea sect to continue to obtain him. Longao, who had fled far away, was excited to the extreme. He had just personally witnessed the power of the God Punishment Mirror. As long as he had this mirror in his hand, he would be invincible. Just as Long Fu had said, even if he encountered a nothingness martial artist, as long as he changed the flow of time, even if he couldn't defeat them, he would be able to smoothly escape. At the same time, Longao also discovered that the combination of the God-binding pearl and the God-punishing mirror was simply flawless. His strength was still not enough. If he could break through to the human king realm, even if it was just a high-level human king, he had full confidence that he could kill Du Yunxian and Du Huxuan with the help of the 2 divine tools. Chapter 199. Brother Long, how was it? Seeing Longao return safely, Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning let out a long sigh of relief. As for Ice Spirit, the two did not mention a word. As for the God Punishment Mirror, Longao did not mention much. He smiled and said, I just did an experiment on the two of them. It felt pretty good. Did an experiment on the two of them? Felt pretty good. Hearing this, both Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning were confused. They did not know what Longao was trying to do. One had to know that Du Yunxian and Du Hashuan were both genuine earthly sovereigns. However, Longao was only in the transformation realm. If it were anyone else, they would want to stay away from the two of them. However, what about Longao? On the contrary, he took the initiative to find them and did an experiment on them. If they did not hear Longao say it with their own ears, they would not believe it. Alright, let's continue. Seeing that Longao was unwilling to continue, the two of them did not continue to ask anything. Friends should be like this. What should be asked, what should not be asked, the two of them knew clearly in their hearts. Longao, Linghu Ning, and Ice Spirit were all very strong. If the three of them worked together, as long as they did not encounter a sovereign stage spirit beast, they could end the battle quickly. In just 2 days, the three of them killed nearly 100 spirit beasts. Among them, 3 were in the transformation realm. The souls of these spirit beasts were all sent into the dragon seal space. As for the corpses and beast cores, they were placed in the Chenkuan bag that Linghu Ning had prepared. Brother Long, Ice Spirit, look. Following the direction that Linghu Ning was pointing at, Longao and Ice Spirit were also somewhat shocked, because in the distance, 2 dark black tigers, one big and one small, the small one was obviously just a cub, were being besieged by a group of raging flame demon apes. The tall black tiger could not hold on any longer. It could fall at any time. Obviously, the big black tiger and the small black tiger were mother and son. In order to protect her son, the big black tiger was heavily injured. Otherwise, with the black tiger's strength, it would have broken out of the encirclement. Brother Long, let's go. It's best not to get involved in this kind of trouble. Linghu Ning did not want to get into trouble because there were over 20 devil flaming apes, and each of them was a transformed spirit beast. Even if the 3 of them wanted to help, they would be powerless. But for some reason, Longao felt a sense of pity when he saw the little fellow dodging in a panic. Even Longao himself didn't know what was wrong with him. Brother Linghu, Ice Spirit, wait for me in the cave. I'll be right back. Linghu Ning and Ice Spirit knew exactly what Longao wanted to do. They said in unison, Brother Long, you can't do that. It's not worth risking your life for 2 spiritual beasts. Longao waved his hand. Once he had decided on something, he would not change his mind. Longao also knew what the demonic fire ape's strength meant. Whether it was Ice Spirit or Linghu Ning, it was impossible for them to be a match for the demonic fire ape. It was because of this that Longao was prepared to fight alone. Taking a deep look at Longao, Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning knew each other's character very well. So, they did not waste any more words and turned to leave. In the end, Linghu Ning and Ice Spirit were very confident in Longao. Otherwise, they would not have left in peace. In any case, Longao could even defeat Zhong Zhihang, let alone a group of devil flaming apes. After the two left, Longao did not continue to hesitate. He did not know how long the 2 black tigers could last. The 9 Abyss Netherworld Tiger was one of the most powerful spirit beasts. The 9 Abyss Netherworld Spider and 9 Abyss Netherworld Tiger belonged to the same race, but there was a huge difference in their strength. It was like the Giant Dragon Clan and the Dragon Snake Clan. They belonged to the same race, but their strength and level were different. Peng. The mother was hit by the devil flaming apes consecutively. Her body was sent flying. Just as the devil flaming apes were about to attack the cub, Longao had already arrived and picked up the cub. Seeing the sudden appearance of a human, the devil flaming apes were completely enraged. One after another, they attacked Longao endlessly. One devil flaming ape was not scary. What was scary was the joint attack of more than 20 devil flaming apes. Moreover, they were all in the transformation realm. Although Longao was very confident in himself, he knew his limits. Holding the cub, he did not abandon the mother. A mother who was willing to sacrifice herself for her child was the greatest. Carrying the injured mother, Longao turned and left quickly. With Longao's speed, the devil flaming apes would definitely not be able to catch up. After running for a few minutes, Longao realized that the devil flaming apes did not continue to chase after him. Only then did Longao let out a sigh of relief. Returning to the cave. Seeing that Longao had saved the two netherworld tigers, the two of them did not know what to say. They stood aside quietly and let Longao deal with it himself. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Looking at his dying mother lying on the ground, Longao could not understand the language of spiritual beasts. He could only convey his mother's message through Long Qiong. After conveying the message, Longao finally understood his mother's meaning. It was very simple. She wanted him to take care of his child and transfer all his power to the child after his death. In the end, at the moment of his mother's death, she told Longao a secret. That was, his mother had a supreme spiritual beast gold core. As long as the child took it, he believed that in a very short period of time, the little cub would grow up. Don't worry. I'll take good care of the little guy for you. You're the greatest. Without hesitation, Longao transferred all his mother's power to the cub. As for the supreme spiritual beast gold core, he sent it into the dragon seal space for Longfu to cultivate. This way, there would be no danger and it could help the little guy to grow up better. Carrying the little guy, Longao said dotingly, "From now on, you'll follow me. 9 netherworld tiger. From now on, you'll be called Long Ming. Long Qiong, Long Ming. A dragon and a tiger. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo." Looking at the crying little guy, Longao did not have to guess to know that the little guy must be sad over his mother's death. Sighing deeply in his heart, he gave Linghu Ning a look. Linghu Ning understood and buried the 9 netherworld tiger's body immediately. "Little guy, don't worry. I'll definitely take revenge for you." As though he could understand Longao's words, the little guy nodded his head, looking extremely cute. Even though Long Ming's body was small, his strength was already really strong. He was already an official post-celestial. If he could consume the supreme spiritual beast gold core, his strength would definitely be able to break through. Even reaching the thunder calamity state wouldn't be an issue. Not only that, Longao had even signed a contract with the little guy, just like Long Qiong. Chapter 200. Perhaps the little fellow was too sad and gradually fell asleep. After putting the little fellow into the dragon seal space, Linghu Ning walked over with a hesitant expression. "Brother Linghu, please speak your mind. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. You just obtained a supreme spiritual beast's golden core. If you can devour it, I believe that your cultivation will be able to break through to the nihility realm in a short period of time. Why did you give it to this little fellow for nothing?" Without waiting for Longao to speak, Linghu Ning continued, "The most important thing is to increase your strength. As for the little fellow, you can slowly compensate him in the future." Regarding Linghu Ning's meaning, how could Longao not know? Seemingly surprised, Longao asked, "Brother Linghu, you know about the Void 8 realms?" Linghu Ning nodded and said, "I learned about it by accident. It's hard to imagine that there are Void 8 realms above the transformation realm." Ice Soul didn't know what the two were talking about. She asked curiously, "What are these Void 8 realms?" Ice Soul, above the transformation realm that we know, there are even better martial artists. They are called the Void Realm and are divided into 8 realms. The Void 8 realms, from lowest to highest, are the Disaster Realm, Honorable Realm, Supreme Realm, Earthly Honorable Realm, Heavenly Honorable Realm, Great Honorable Realm, World King Realm, and World Emperor Realm. Void 8 realms? Ice Spirit was shocked when she heard Linghu Ning's words. Because in her perception, the Dao Ancestor Realm was the pinnacle of martial arts. However, she had never thought that there were 8 Void realms above the Dao Ancestor Realm. It seemed like the so-called Xiantian Realm was nothing to martial arts. When the 9 netherworld tiger died, it gave Brother Long a supreme golden core. It's the condensed energy of a supreme martial artist before his death. Once Brother Long consumes it, Ling Hu Ning didn't continue. The meaning in his words was clear. The sovereign golden core was the accumulation of all the power of a sovereign warrior. Of course, Ice Spirit knew what the sovereign golden core represented. He looked at Longao. Brother Long, I think Brother Linghu is right. You'll be participating in the 6th Sect Battle Royal in 15 days. With your current strength, it's impossible for you to compete for the sovereign golden pill. Since that's the case, why don't you use the sovereign golden pill first and help the little guy increase his strength later? Ice Spirit and Ling Hu Ning had the same idea. Regarding Ice Soul and Ling Hu Ning's intentions, Longao was crystal clear. But could he agree? Without the slightest hesitation, Longao shook his head and refused. No matter what happens, I will not use this sovereign golden core. Why is that? Now that the little guy is my brother, my partner, I can't steal from my brother. Also, this sovereign golden pill is the last thing that the little guy's mother left for him. Can I use it myself? Brothers. Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul had never thought that Longao would treat the little fellow as a brother. If that was the case, Longao indeed couldn't take the little guy's sovereign golden pill. It wouldn't be fair, whether it was for public or private reasons. But Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul were still unwilling. After all, they knew very well what the sovereign golden pill meant. They felt sorry for Longao for giving up such an opportunity. But the 6th Sect Battle Royal was only a month away. At that time, it wouldn't be easy for Longao to snatch the sovereign golden pill from the 60 experts of the 6 sects. If Longao could devour the sovereign golden pill, even if there were only 15 days left, Longao's strength would be greatly enhanced. It would be of great help to him in obtaining the sovereign golden pill. Regarding Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul's worries in their hearts, how could Longao not know? With a smile, Longao said, Brother Linghu, Ice Soul, I know you're doing this for my own good. But sometimes, we have to be clear about what we should do and what we shouldn't do. Otherwise, we won't be able to face ourselves. Hearing Longao's words, Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul seemed to be deeply touched. They both nodded in agreement. Brother Long, the little fellow was so sad just now. Are you really going to avenge the little fellow? This hatred must be avenged. Sure enough. The two of them knew Longao's character too well. Since they had already promised the little guy, they would definitely take revenge. If it was an ordinary spirit beast or only a demonic flame ape, then the two of them would not have the slightest worry. But the situation was completely different now. The other party had more than 20 demonic flame apes. Who knew if there were more reinforcements? Once they formed a group, would Longao be able to withstand it? The two were very confident in Longao's strength. Confidence was confidence, but it wasn't that simple to actually do it. 1 against 20, the slightest mistake could lead to eternal damnation. It was precisely because of this that the two of them didn't want Longao to take the risk. However, before the two of them could speak, Longao had already said, You guys stay here and wait for me later. I must avenge the little guy. The two sighed deeply in their hearts. They knew Longao's character very well. So, the two didn't continue to persuade him. Nodding, Ice Soul said, We don't have the slightest opinion about your revenge, but we must go with you. Yes, we live together. If we die together. Looking at the two friends in front of him, Longao would be lying if he said he wasn't moved. It was precisely because Longao treated the two of them as true friends that he knew even more clearly that he could not implicate his friends in this matter, nor could he harm his friends. Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul's strength was too weak compared to the demonic Blaze Ape. Even if they went, they would die in vain. Longao said with a smile, Don't you believe in my strength? Since I could escape from the hands of two earthly sovereigns, there's no need to mention a group of transformed spiritual beasts. Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul seemed to want to say something, but they were stopped by Longao. He continued, If you're a friend, choose to believe in me. In the end, Ice Soul and Ling Hu Ning had no choice but to compromise and agree to wait for him. Inside the cave, Longao didn't immediately seek revenge. Instead, he communicated with the dragon seal through his soul and entered the space of the dragon seal. Long Fu, why are you looking for me? Master, The little fellow you just got is the 9-abyss netherworld tiger. I know. Longao nodded. Of course, he knew the identity of the little fellow he just got. It was because of this that he didn't know what Long Fu meant and why he mentioned the little fellow out of the blue. Long Fu, if you have something to say, just say it. Master, the 9-abyss netherworld tiger may seem like an ordinary spiritual beast to outsiders, but I have a way to turn the little fellow into a mutated spiritual beast. Chapter 201. Mutated Spirit Beast. Longao certainly knew what a mutated spirit beast represented. Long Fu, what should I do? Master, leave this to me. It will mutate in about 10 days. Okay. Longao was obviously very happy and excited. He didn't stay in the dragon seal space because he couldn't help at all if the little guy mutated. After chatting with the two for a while, Longao left the valley. As for Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning, they stayed behind to guard. The demonic flame ape was one of the stronger spirit beasts. It was also the most ferocious spirit beast. It especially liked to hunt other spirit beasts, eat their meat, and drink their blood. There were a total of 23 raging flame demonic apes besieging the 9 netherworld tiger. Under normal circumstances, it was impossible for Longao to kill the group of raging flame demonic apes alone. However, for the little fellow, he had to take the risk. Seeing the group of demonic flame apes, Longao didn't hesitate at all and directly rushed forward. He wanted to end the battle quickly and leave no one alive. Holding the bloodthirst blade, Longao slashed down fiercely. The bloodthirst 8 styles overlapped layer by layer. The shocking blade light was like a meteor. It was very fast. Maybe it was because they weren't prepared, or they didn't expect that there would be an enemy sneak attack in the forest. So, Longao's slash directly killed a demonic flame ape. Anger. Seeing that their tribesmen were killed, the other demonic flame apes roared in anger and attacked Longao crazily. Not daring to be careless, Longao used the God Sealing Pearl again and prepared to lock on these demonic flame apes. The God Sealing Pearl was activated, and a powerful aura spread and shrouded all the demonic flame apes. In a battle of the same level, Longao could use the God Sealing Pearl to lock down the demonic flame ape for 10 seconds. What did 10 seconds mean? He believed that everyone was clear about it. In a battle of the same level, if one was locked down for 10 seconds, there was a chance that one would be slaughtered. It was because of this that the demonic flame apes suffered a tragedy. Longao did not miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As soon as the God-locking pearl locked onto all the demonic flame apes, he immediately started slaughtering them. In less than 10 seconds, more than 20 demonic flame apes were slaughtered, and all of their souls were sent into the dragon seal space. As for the beast cores and corpses, Longao didn't waste them. These would become the backing of the family, and would be of great help to the family when the time comes. Less than an hour had passed. Seeing Longao bring back a group of corpses, and they were all corpses of demonic flame apes, both Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning were extremely shocked. Is this true? Brother Long, how did you do it? I was just lucky. Hearing the word lucky, Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning wanted nothing more than to beat up Longao. If everything could be so lucky, then everyone was willing to be lucky. However, Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning didn't continue asking. The two of them also knew that with Longao's current strength, he was invincible among the transformation realm cultivators. They didn't know what would happen if he encountered a human king realm cultivator. Longao defeated Zhong Zhihang, who was at the peak of the earthly sovereign realm in the Ghost King sect. According to the rumors, Longao relied on some kind of secret technique, so it couldn't be considered Longao's true strength. Brother Long, I feel that if we continue to train in the Flame Forest, it won't be of any help to your strength. Longao nodded. He knew what Linghu Ning meant. He had already thought about this problem. In the Flame Forest, it was simply too difficult to encounter spiritual beasts above the human king realm. As for spiritual beasts below the transformation realm, it wasn't a challenge at all. If this continued, he would still be at the second transformation realm in the 6th sect battle royal half a month later. It wouldn't be of any help to him in the fight for the sovereign golden pill. If he didn't train in the Flame Forest, how could he increase his strength quickly? Brother Long, I have a suggestion, but I don't know if you are willing. Please speak, Brother Linghu. After thinking for a while, Linghu Ning finally said, Brother Long, I heard that you have a good relationship with Xia Jun of the Sound of Thunder sect. Is this true? Although Longao didn't know what Linghu Ning meant, he didn't hide anything. He nodded and said, Xia Jun is my friend. Brother Long, there's something you don't know. Within the Thunder sect, there's a forbidden ground called the Thunder Valley. It's said that it's a natural place of thunder and lightning. Many experts of the Thunder sect were refined from there. Thunder Valley? Thunder Forbidden Area. Hearing this, Longao's face turned grave. He knew clearly that although he and Xia Jun were friends, Xia Jun wasn't the master of the Sound of Thunder sect. Making things difficult for Xia Jun because of this wasn't something a friend would do. Brother Long, according to the rumors, this Thunder Valley of the Sound of Thunder sect can not only increase one's cultivation, but also refine one's body. Back then, a senior of the Sound of Thunder sect used the refinement of the Thunder Valley to form an extremely strong physical body. It could even compare to the defense of a colossal dragon. Seeing that Longao didn't say anything and just listened quietly, Linghu Ning naturally knew what Longao was afraid of. Brother Long, I know that you don't want to make things difficult for your friend. If it were any other time, I wouldn't have mentioned this at all. However, your situation now is different. It seemed like he didn't want to say more. However, things had already come to this point. Linghu Ning was really anxious for Longao. Brother Long, you have tried so hard to take away Aoshue. You have already passed the first 2 stages. Are you going to be destroyed in the 3rd stage? Although I don't know how you can increase your strength in an instant, I can imagine that doing so will definitely backfire. Since that's the case, why don't you give it a try? Perhaps with your relationship with Xia Jun, the Sound of Thunder sect will agree to it. Before Longao could say anything, Ice Spirit also said, Brother Long, the Thunder Valley is the only chance for you to increase your strength quickly. We hope that you can take away Aoshue. We don't want to see you give up halfway and regret it for the rest of your life. Looking at Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning, Longao still couldn't make up his mind. Brother Long, think about it. If Aoshue marries Zhong Zhihang, what will you do then? At the mention of Aoshue and Zhong Zhihang, Longao's face changed instantly. Then, it was filled with determination. Clenching his fists tightly, he said, You guys are right. Since things have come to this point, I can't give up halfway. Brother Linghu, Ice Spirit, I'll send you guys back to Flame City first. After that, I'll go to the Sound of Thunder sect to look for Xia Jun. Seeing that Longao had finally agreed, the 2 of them were extremely surprised. Ice Spirit waved her hand and said with a smile, We're not 3-year-old children. We don't need you to send us back. You do what you need to do. We can go back ourselves. If that's the case, I'll go first. Go. Longao didn't hesitate. He turned around and left quickly. He knew that strength was more important than anything to him now. Chapter 202. After Longao left, Linghu Ning and Bing Po did not stay any longer. The 2 of them prepared to leave the Flame Forest and return to Flame City to transport everything back to the Long family in Scarlet Fire Town. As soon as the 2 of them stepped out of the Flame Forest, they saw Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian. Their faces instantly changed as they knew how powerful Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian were. I didn't expect that instead of Longao, you 2 would come out. But it's the same. As elders of the Blood River sect, aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by others? Ridiculed? Hearing this, Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian burst into laughter. Their laughter was filled with disdain and contempt. There's no one around, no one can see. Linghu Ning, if the 2 of you follow us obediently, we won't make things difficult for you. But if you don't cooperate, don't blame us for being ruthless. Linghu Ning and Bing Po did not choose to compromise, but in the end, they were no match for the 2 of them and were subdued. Du Yunxian, Du Hushuan, how dare you call yourselves elders of the Blood River sect? Ignoring their curses, Du Yunxian said, Big brother, now that we've captured the 2 of them, what should we do next? Go back. In the 6th sect battle royal, as long as the 2 of them are in our hands, I don't believe that Longao will watch them die without helping them. Shameless, despicable. Du Yunxian knocked the two of them unconscious and said, "Big brother, you want to exchange the two of them for the sovereign golden pills?" Nodding his head, Du Hushuan smiled and said, "Longao is a righteous person. I believe that he won't ignore the life and death of his friends. As long as the two of them are in our hands, we will definitely get the sovereign golden pills." Du Yunxian didn't think much of it. In his opinion, Longao was still a metamorphosis martial artist. Even if he could use soul attacks and change the flow of time, it wouldn't be easy for him to snatch the sovereign golden pills from the disciples of the 6 sects. Du Hushuan seemed to be able to read his second brother's mind. He smiled and said, "Are you doubting Longao's strength? Big brother, you and I both know that Longao's strength is only trash. If you say that Longao can really snatch away the sovereign golden pill, I don't believe it. Second brother, I can guarantee that Longao will definitely come out on top in this 6-sect battle royal." Du Yunxian seemed a little surprised, because he didn't expect his big brother to be so supportive of Longao. Could it be that Longao could really obtain the sovereign golden core in the 6-sects battle for supremacy? Even now, Du Yunxian was still in disbelief. Du Hushuan didn't say anything else. The two of them quickly left with Ice Soul and Ling Huning. From beginning to end, Longao didn't know about this. The Sound of Thunder sect was one of the 6 major sects. It was as famous as the Flame sect, and its strength was above the other 4 major sects. The Sound of Thunder sect supported the Sound of Thunder Empire, and it was on par with the Flame Empire, occupying half of the secular world. It wasn't hard to imagine how strong the Sound of Thunder sect was. Longao rushed to the Sound of Thunder sect at his fastest speed, but he was stopped by the 2 disciples guarding the gate. "Wait, who are you? How dare you barge into the Sound of Thunder sect?" Longao of Scarlet Flame Town. Scarlet Flame Town? Although the news about Longao had spread throughout Tianju, the two of them didn't expect the legendary figure to descend from the sky. Therefore, when the two of them heard the words Scarlet Flame Town, their hearts were filled with disdain. As for the name Longao, the two of them didn't even hear it. A mere secular disciple dares to barge into the Sound of Thunder sect. This alone is enough to warrant the death penalty. A dog relying on its master's power. "Kid, what did you just say?" Hearing that the other party dared to scold them, the 2 disciples were immediately enraged. Their eyes were spitting fire, as if they could attack at any time. What kind of joke was this? This was the Sound of Thunder sect. Who would dare to be presumptuous here? Not to mention that the other party was just a mere secular disciple. Even if the other 5 sects disciples came, they wouldn't put them in their eyes. "Get lost. Ha ha ha, you're telling us to get lost? You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth." The two of them chose to ignore Longao's words and laughed loudly, as if they had heard the funniest thing in the world. "Kid, was your head kicked by a donkey, or did water enter your brain? How dare you act presumptuously here? I'm officially informing you now that your life is ours." The two of them were full of confidence. With their strength at the peak of the post-liminary realm, dealing with a mere secular disciple was like playing around. Moreover, they had the Sound of Thunder sect behind them. Even if they killed the other party, they believed that no one would dare to cause trouble for the Sound of Thunder sect. Because of this, the two of them didn't continue to hesitate. They were like hungry wolves, fiercely pouncing on Longao. Longao's luck could be said to be bad. These 2 disciples of the Sound of Thunder sect were originally outer sect disciples with decent positions. However, they had made a mistake and were demoted to guard the gate. The two of them had been suppressing their anger with nowhere to vent, and Longao was the perfect outlet. However, the two of them had found the wrong target to vent their anger on. The two of them left quickly, but returned even faster. Moreover, they screamed miserably as they were sent flying. Before the two of them could figure out what had happened, their bodies had made the most intimate contact with the ground. If it weren't for Xia Jun's face, just this move alone would have killed the two of them countless times. Resisting the waves of pain coming from their bodies, the two of them climbed up with great difficulty. Their expressions changed, but they still roared arrogantly, "You actually dared to hurt us. I'll make you suffer." I'd like to see how you'll make me suffer. Longao looked at the two of them with interest. He wasn't in a hurry to find Xia Jun. He wanted to see what kind of tricks these two gatekeepers could play. Just as the two of them were about to call for reinforcements, a figure shot down from the sound of Thunder Mountain. His speed was extremely fast. Seeing this person, the two of them were delighted. They laughed weirdly and said, "Kid, our young master is here. If you have the ability, don't run. I'd like to see what's given to you." Slap. Before he could finish his words, Xia Jun, who had just arrived, slapped him directly on the face. It seemed like he had used a lot of strength. This slap directly slapped the disciple to the ground. The other person was so shocked that he didn't know what had happened. He just stood there dumbfounded. "You two trash. You have eyes but can't see Mount Tai. How dare you provoke my brother? I think you're tired of living." Your brother? Just now, they had provoked the young master's brother. Hearing Xia Jun's words, the two of them were almost scared to death. They immediately knelt down in fear and kowtowed repeatedly, begging for mercy. Provoking the young master? They wouldn't even know how they died. Chapter 203. Seeing that Xia Jun was about to make a move, Longao hurriedly stopped him. "Brother Long, brother Xia, just teach them a lesson. For brother Long's sake, I'll let the two of you off for now. Remember, keep your eyes open in the future." Seeing the two fiends leaving, the two disciples of the Thunder sect knelt on the ground, trembling in fear. They had no idea what had just happened, as if they had just walked through the gates of hell. Since when did the young master have such a brother? Wait, brother Long, that man said he's called Longao. Could he be the Longao who caused a ruckus in the Ghost King sect? Thinking of this, the two disciples' faces were filled with despair. They clearly knew what it meant to offend the young master. Although they managed to keep their lives, it would be impossible for them to be valued by the sect in the future. Thunderbolt Peak, in a beautiful pavilion at the back of the mountain. Longao didn't care about admiring the scenery of Thunder Peak. He didn't even wait for Xia Jun to ask. He went straight to the point and said, "Brother Xia, I asked you to come here this time mainly because I need your help with something. Speak." Of course, Xia Jun knew that with Longao's character, he wouldn't look for him if it wasn't for something important. "Brother Xia, I heard that there's a forbidden area in the Thunder sect called Thunderbolt Valley." In an instant, Xia Jun already knew the purpose of Longao's visit. With a slightly solemn face, he asked, "Brother Long, are you here to train in Thunderbolt Valley?" Since things had already come to this point, Longao didn't hold back. He nodded and said, "That's right. Brother Xia, I believe you also know that the Six Sects Battle Royal will begin in 12 days. With my current strength, it will be extremely difficult for me to obtain the Sovereign Golden Pill during the battle. Therefore, during this period of time, I must quickly increase my strength." Needless to say, Xia Jun knew the reason. How could a person who dared to offend the Ghost King sect and Golden Sun sect for a woman give up so easily? If an ordinary person came to look for Xia Jun, they would definitely be rejected. But Longao was different. Xia Jun treated Longao as a true friend. "Brother Xia, is it very troublesome?" "Brother Long, I treat you as a true friend, so when I tell you the truth, this matter is really troublesome." Xia Jun thought for a moment before continuing, "Thunderbolt Valley is a forbidden area of my Thunderbolt sect. Not to mention outsiders, even our sect's disciples are not allowed to casually enter." As expected, Longao wasn't surprised at all. If the Sound of Thunder sect allowed outsiders to enter the Thunder Valley, then the Thunder Valley wouldn't be a forbidden area. "Brother Xia, if this matter is too difficult, then there's no need for it." Waving his hand, Xia Jun said with a resolute expression, "Calm down. No matter what, I will let you enter Thunderbolt Valley." Looking at the departing Xia Jun, Longao had a very good impression of this person. Such a friend was worth befriending no matter what. 10 minutes later, Xia Jun brought the Sound of Thunder sect's master, Xia Fang, over personally and gave Longao a signal with his eyes. Xia Jun didn't say anything, but Xia Fang smiled and said, "So it's Longao. I heard from Jun that you want to enter Thunderbolt Valley to train." Xia Fang obviously knew why Longao was so eager to enter Thunderbolt Valley, so he went straight to the point and didn't beat around the bush. Longao also didn't dawdle. He nodded his head and said, "In the 6th sect battle royal 12 days later, I must obtain the sovereign golden pill. Therefore, I want to enter Thunderbolt Valley to train. I hope Master Xia can agree. If it wasn't for Aoshue, Longao would definitely not do this." Nodding his head, Xia Fang said, "Sure, but you have to agree to 2 conditions." Longao didn't answer immediately because he didn't know what conditions Xia Fang would raise. If Xia Fang wanted him to commit suicide, did he have to agree? The first condition is that in the 6th sect battle royal 12 days later, my Sound of Thunder sect will do our best to help you obtain the sovereign golden pill. However, you have to cooperate with Jun and the rest to kill the disciples of the other sects. How about it? Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he understood the meaning behind Xia Fang's words. Without a doubt, he wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to eliminate the strength of the other sects and strengthen his own strength. The 6 major sects had always been fighting openly and covertly to eliminate each other. This 6th sect battle royal was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Longao thought for a moment and said, "I can agree to this condition." As if he had already guessed that Longao would agree, Xia Fang smiled and continued, "The second condition is that I hope you can become a guest elder of my Sound of Thunder sect. This way, you can enter the Thunder Valley naturally and I believe that no one will say anything." As if afraid that Longao would misunderstand, Xia Jun said, "Brother Long, there are many stubborn old men in the sect. If you don't do this, I'm afraid that they won't agree. Furthermore, the guest elder won't restrict your freedom. As long as the sect is in trouble, you can just lend a hand." So that's how it is. Since things had already reached this stage, Longao didn't continue to hesitate. He nodded his head and said, "Master Xia, I agree to these 2 conditions." "Ha ha ha, good. Longao, if you don't mind, you can call me uncle." He really knew how to take advantage of others. However, for Xia Jun's sake, Longao still called out, "Uncle Xia." "Very good. Longao, since you've already agreed, I'll tell you about the Thunder Valley." Longao immediately became focused. This was because he was looking forward to entering the Thunder Valley. According to Linghu Ning, one could borrow the power of thunder and lightning to temper their body and strengthen their physical defense in the Thunder Valley. Longao placed great importance on this point. This was because no matter how strong one was, there would always be a day of bad luck. If one were to be hit by an enemy, if one's physical defense was strong enough, they would at least be able to withstand the attack with just their physical defense alone. Longao, the Thunder Valley is a forbidden area of my Sound of Thunder sect. It has the strongest power of thunder and lightning in the world. However, Unification Realm martial artists and Dao Ancestor martial artists can't enter. "Uncle Xia, why is that?" Longao was puzzled. He didn't know why Unification Realm martial artists and Dao Ancestor martial artists couldn't enter. Because of the Thunder Calamity and 100 Calamity. The Thunder Valley itself has the power of thunder and lightning. If you attract your own Thunder Calamity in the Thunder Valley, it will be very troublesome. Moreover, as long as you enter the Thunder Valley, other than being able to increase your strength, you can also borrow the power of thunder and lightning to temper your body. Xia Jun, who had been silent all this while, said with a smile, "Brother Long, let me tell you a secret. In my Sound of Thunder sect, there's a legend that if one can borrow the power of thunder and lightning in the Thunder Valley to temper his body and reach the highest realm, he can achieve the Purple Thunder Divine Body. At that time, just the physical defense alone would be enough to contend against a huge dragon. However, after so many years, no one has ever been able to cultivate the Purple Thunder Divine Body." Chapter 204. Purple Thunder Godly Body. 2 hours later. Thunderbolt Valley, the forbidden area of the Sound of Thunder sect. Ordinary disciples could not enter. "Brother Long, you have to be careful. Not everyone who enters Thunderbolt Valley can come out alive." "Understood. Don't worry." Longao did not continue to hesitate. He seemed to be somewhat impatient as he walked towards the Thunderbolt Valley in front of him. In a short while, He had already disappeared without a trace. Junna, no matter what, you have to build a good relationship with him. Don't follow in the footsteps of the Ghost King sect and Golden Sun sect. Xia Jun nodded. He clearly knew that Longao's talent and potential had impressed his father. Otherwise, his father would not have allowed an outsider to enter Thunderbolt Valley to train. This was the first time in the Sound of Thunder sect. Thunderbolt Valley, purple mist lingered. Thunderbolt Valley, the huge area was filled with purple mist, giving people a hazy feeling. Longao raised his spirit and walked carefully. According to Xia Jun, the place where the lightning energy was the strongest in the Thunderbolt Valley was the deepest part of the Thunderbolt Valley. However, very few people were able to reach there. There's no resistance at all? Sensing that there was no resistance, Longao was very curious. He did not know what was going on. According to Xia Jun, there was a huge resistance towards the deepest part of Thunderbolt Valley. It was not an easy task to enter. However, there seemed to be no resistance at all as he easily reached the deepest part of Thunderbolt Valley. Longao did not know that the reason why he did not feel any resistance was because of the lightning calamity that he possessed. The lightning calamity was one of the strongest forces in the world. In other words, Longao's lightning calamity began to devour the surrounding purple lightning the moment he entered Thunderbolt Valley. As the forbidden area of Thunderbolt Valley, the entire valley was filled with purple lightning. Stepping into Thunderbolt Valley, Longao finally figured out what was going on in Thunderbolt Valley. It could be said that Thunderbolt Valley was like a huge storage space. It received the lightning calamity from the world. It did not dissipate nor did it disappear. It was stored just like that. Arriving at the deepest part of Thunderbolt Valley, Longao sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. In the Dragon Seal space. Long Fu, do you have any way to help me achieve the purple lightning godly body? Master, the purple thunder divine body is considered the lowest level of divine body. However, with your current strength, achieving the purple thunder divine body is still unbearable. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao deeply sighed. It would be a pity to miss such a rare opportunity. But there was no other way. Long Fu had already said that with his current strength, he was unable to withstand the purple lightning divine body. Master, the lightning energy here is very strong. I can temporarily store this lightning energy. Later, when Master's strength increases, I can help you condense the purple thunder divine body. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao was overjoyed. Master, this is a good place to cultivate. However, it should be impossible to break through to sovereign personage. Of course, Longao could understand the meaning behind Long Fu's words. Without saying anything, he left the Dragon Seal space and immediately began to cultivate wholeheartedly. Just like this, time passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had already passed. Not bad. In just 3 days, you have already broken through to third metamorphosis from second metamorphosis realm. Such talent and potential. I don't seem to have seen you before. Hearing the sudden voice, Longao was startled. He opened his eyes and looked at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of him. He immediately became vigilant. According to what the other party said, he had just entered Thunderbolt Valley 3 days ago and was already discovered by the other party. However, he did not notice it at all. If this person wanted to deal with him, it was hard to imagine. Even if he was killed, it would probably be in a daze. Who are you? Ha ha ha, who am I? You entered Thunderbolt Valley and actually asked who I am. What a joke. Let me ask you, who are you? Longao let out a sigh of relief. He realized that the young man in front of him was a straightforward person. He said, Scarlet Fire Town's Long family. Sound of Thunder sect's Dugu Bai. Sound of Thunder sect's Dugu Bai? Hearing the other party's self-introduction, Longao was even more shocked. This was because Longao was not unfamiliar with the name Dugu Bai. As the number one person of the younger generation in Tianju, Dugu Bai's name resounded throughout the entire Tianju. Dugu Bai was a super genius of the Sound of Thunder sect that had not appeared in 100 years. Before the age of 30, he had already reached the Dao Ancestor realm, which was the so-called peak of Metamorphosis realm. He was only one step away from officially entering the Void realm. More importantly, Sound of Thunder Sect's Dugu Bai was ranked number 1 on the Wind Cloud ranking. Longao, Scarlet Fire Town. If I'm not wrong, you're the Longao who caused havoc in Ghost King Sect, defeated Zhong Zhihang, and fought against Zhong Mo? Yes. Longao was not surprised that Dugu Bai knew him. After all, the incident of him causing havoc in Ghost King Sect was too shocking. It had already spread throughout the entire Tianju. As the number 1 person of the Sound of Thunder Sect, it was impossible for Dugu Bai to not know about it. Longao, I'm curious. Thunder Valley is a forbidden area of the sect. Not to mention outsiders, even ordinary disciples are not allowed to enter. Especially when I'm in seclusion. I want to ask, how did you enter? Hearing Dugu Bai's words, Longao sighed. Dugu Bai's talent was there for all to see. In order to nurture a genius, Sound of Thunder Sect was willing to sacrifice the cultivation time of other disciples. In other words, Dugu Bai had directly occupied the entire Thunder Valley. Ordinary disciples were not allowed to enter the Thunder Valley to cultivate. Longao did not hide anything and said, I'm now a guest of the Sound of Thunder Sect. 9 days later, I will participate in the 6th Sect Battle Royal. Therefore, I have to enter to cultivate. Guest, no wonder. Longao, I've already learned about your deeds and character through Xia Jun. I really want to call you a friend. I wonder if you're willing? Since Dugu Bai had already said so, how could he refuse? Extending his hand, Longao and Dugu Bai shook hands. At this moment, Dugu Bai suddenly said, 9 days later, I'll also participate in the 6th Sect Battle Royal. I've received the sect's intention. In the 6th Sect Battle Royal, I'll do my best to help you obtain the Sovereign Golden Pill. Hearing Dugu Bai's words, Longao was delighted. Dugu Bai's strength was there for all to see. He was in the Dao Ancestor realm and could easily sweep across the 5 major sects. With Dugu Bai's help, obtaining the Sovereign Golden Pill would be much easier. Longao had never thought that the Sound of Thunder Sect would do this. It seemed like the Sound of Thunder Sect had invested a lot in him. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like this. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. With your current strength, it's not enough to compete for the Sovereign Golden Pill. Chapter 205. Longao nodded. He did not deny this point. The 6 great sects would send their strongest disciples to the 6th Sect War of Supremacy. It could be said that the disciples participating in the 6th Sect War of Supremacy were all people on the Wind Cloud ranking. A cultivator with 3 transformations was nothing in the 6th Sect War of Supremacy. Brother Long, I'll get straight to the point. In the remaining 9 days, I can help you break through to Sovereign Personage. With your talent and potential, I believe you will be able to gain a spot in the 6th Sect War of Supremacy. What method? Even Long Fu did not have a method. Hence, Longao felt very curious. He wondered what method Dugu Bai had that could help him break through to Sovereign Personage. Longao knew very well that although there was only a difference of 1 cultivation realm between a cultivator with 3 transformations and a Sovereign Personage, the 2 were not on the same level. The difference was huge. Brother Long, this is your first time entering Thunder Valley. Hence, tempering your energy is the most effective. Come with me. Longao followed Dugu Bai out of the depths and arrived before a huge purple-black rock. He pointed at the huge rock and said, Brother Long, this huge purple lightning rock is the essence that I have accumulated over the years. Sit on it and cultivate. You should be able to break through to Sovereign Personage in 7 days. Longao nodded and did not stand on ceremony. He thanked Dugu Bai and went to sit down cross-legged on the huge purple lightning rock. Then, he immediately entered a state of cultivation. Indeed, as expected, just as he sat on the ground and entered a state of cultivation, Longao discovered the difference in the purple lightning boulder. In just an instant, he was enveloped by a terrifying lightning force, swallowing and spitting back and forth, constantly tempering the power in his body. Dugu Bai, who was standing beside the huge purple lightning rock, smiled. Suddenly, a startling aura burst out from his body. Following that, the surrounding purple lightning started to gather wildly around Longao. Longao, who was cultivating, suddenly felt the purple lightning enter his body. Naturally, he knew what was happening. Xiao Chen felt somewhat grateful to Dugu Bai. However, the situation did not allow him to overthink. He focused on cultivating. Originally, according to Dugu Bai's estimation, Longao would need at least 7 days to reach the human king realm from the third metamorphosis. However, Longao had shortened this time to 4 days. When Longao opened his eyes, Dugu Bai sighed and said, "Brother Long, I have to admit that your talent and potential is the strongest among all the people I've seen." After leaving the purple lightning boulder, Longao smiled and said, "Many thanks to Brother Dugu for helping me this time. I can't express my gratitude with words. Brother Long, I'm really curious. What kind of secret technique did you use to instantly increase your strength and defeat Zhong Zhihang?" Friend, Longao had already treated Dugu Bai as a friend. Thus, Longao did not hide anything. He said, "Brother Dugu, have you heard of the 9 needles sealing god?" Seeing Dugu Bai shake his head, Longao continued, "The principle behind the 9 needles sealing god is very simple. It is nothing more than using the 9 needles to seal your 9 acupoints. Although the 9 needles sealing god can increase your strength for a short time, the backlash is very strong. If you are not careful, you will be consigned to eternal damnation." Dugu Bai nodded. He had an understanding expression as he said, "Brother Long, since that is the case, I advise you not to use the 9 needles sealing god unless you have no other choice." "I understand. Ha ha ha. Brother Long, you have already broken through to sovereign personage. Why don't we fight? It might be an opportunity for us." Longao did not refuse. Sometimes, a spar between cultivators was a very good thing for cultivators. Because of this, Longao and Dugu Bai didn't continue to talk. The two of them stared at each other. Powerful fighting intent exploded from their bodies. Before the battle started, the fighting intent had already collided fiercely. They were worthy of being the first rank on the wind cloud list. Just this fighting intent alone was enough to show disdain for their peers. Longao did not dare to be careless. Although it was a spar, if he did not go all out, it would be disrespectful to his friends. Instantly, Longao and Dugu Bai moved. In the blink of an eye, the two of them were already fighting. Thus, the two of them did not use any weapons. They fought barehanded. A Dao ancestor was a Dao ancestor after all. The difference between sovereign personage and Dao ancestor personage was very big. Thus, Longao went all out. He took out the God Sealing Pearl and the God Punishing Mirror. Then, he activated the 2 divine tools. A strange aura spread out, instantly enveloping the surrounding space. Dugu Bai, who was originally full of confidence, suddenly felt his body being locked down. Furthermore, he discovered that time had reversed. In his shock, his movement slowed. "Brother Long, you win. The first place on the wind cloud list should be yours. Brother Dugu, you and I both know that if it was a life and death battle, I would definitely lose. Brother Dugu just did not go all out just now. Let's call this battle a draw. How about it?" "Ha ha ha, good, let's go." Dugu Bai appeared to be very happy. In truth, Dugu Bai was just being polite. It was as Longao had said, the difference in strength between the two of them was very large. If he were to go all out, Longao would undoubtedly lose. The difference between a Dao ancestor and an earthly sovereign was very big. They were not on the same level. Outside Thunder Valley, Xia Jun had been standing guard here. If anything happened to Longao, he could immediately enter Thunder Valley to rescue him. According to Xia Jun's estimation, Longao would need at least 7 days to train in Thunder Valley. In the following 2 days, he would go to Ghost Cry Ridge. But at this time, Xia Jun was very surprised to see 2 people walking out of the valley. It had only been 4 days, and they even came out together with Brother Dugu. "Brother Dugu, Brother Long, why did the 2 of you come out together?" Xia Jun naturally knew that Dugu Bai was training in Thunder Valley. But according to Dugu Bai's character, even if they met, he would not say anything. But now, it seemed that the 2 of them were clearly friends. "Little Jun, Brother Long and I hit it off at first sight. Just now, we actually ended in a draw." Hearing Dugu Bai's words, Longao was also somewhat surprised. With Dugu Bai's current status and strength, publicly admitting that they had ended in a draw was not good for him. Magnanimous. Longao began to admire this Dugu Bai beside him. Brother Long, your cultivation base has broken through? It had only been 4 days, and he was even able to fight Brother Dugu to a draw. Although there was a lot of exaggeration, it was enough to explain the problem. Because of that, Xie Jun was incomparably shocked. It's just a lucky breakthrough. Just a lucky breakthrough. Hearing Longao's words, Xie Jun's face revealed a trace of a bitter smile. Comparisons were truly odious. Chapter 206. Dugu Bai, Longao, and Xie Jun arrived at the pavilion and sat down. Big brother Dugu, brother Long, what happened? Xie Jun felt very curious. He did not know what happened between the two. How did Longao manage to make consecutive breakthroughs and reach medial grade sovereign personage in a short 4 days? Dugu Bai smiled as he roughly recounted what had just happened. After hearing it, Xie Jun sighed incessantly. Xie Jun clearly knew in his heart that Dugu Bai seemed to think highly of Longao. Otherwise, he would not have lent the huge purple lightning rock that he had painstakingly obtained for many years to Longao. However, this was good as well. With Dugu Bai and Longao's help, he was confident of dealing with the disciples of the other sects in the 6-sect competition for supremacy. Brother Long, forgive me for speaking bluntly. Earlier, I felt my body being locked down. Furthermore, the flow of time seemed to have changed. How did Brother Long do it? Hearing Dugu Bai's words, Xie Jun's ears perked up. He did not know what locking down his body and changing the flow of time meant. Longao did not hide much from Dugu Bai and Xie Jun. Big brother Dugu, brother Xie, I will not hide this from you too. The reason why I was able to defeat Zhong Zhihang and endure Zhong Mo's attack was because of 2 divine tools, the God-punishing mirror and the God-sealing pearl. So, it is the God-punishing pearl. Big brother Dugu, you recognize the God-punishing pearl? Longao felt very shocked. After all, he obtained the God-punishing pearl from the 3rd ancestor. Dugu Bai nodded and said, legend has it that the God-punishing pearl is an ancient divine tool. However, its whereabouts are unknown. Unexpectedly, the God-punishing pearl ended up in Brother Long's hands. So, that is the case. Brother Long, remember. However, do not reveal the God-punishing pearl in your hands. Otherwise, trouble will come endlessly. Longao nodded. How could he not know about Dugu Bai's worries? Just at this moment, Xie Jun suddenly said, Brother Long, can you let me feel the so-called God-punishing mirror and God-sealing pearl? No problem. Since Longao already said it, he was not afraid of the two finding out. He took out the God-punishing mirror and God-sealing pearl and released the two's energy, encasing them. With his body locked down, he could even clearly feel the flow of time. Xie Jun's face instantly changed. He really didn't know if he didn't sense it, but once he did, he was shocked. Putting away the God-sealing pearl and God-punishing mirror, Longao smiled and asked, Brother Xie, how do you feel? Powerful. Brother Long, I can say with certainty that as long as you have the God-sealing pearl and the God-punishing mirror, you will be invincible among sovereign personages. Even if you meet an earthly sovereign, I believe you will be able to fight. Although he was extremely unwilling to admit it, Xie Jun knew that with his current strength, it was still unknown whether he would win or lose if he were to fight with Longao. All right, Brother Long, Xiao Jun, the battle of the 6 sects is about to begin. According to the sect, only the 3 of us from the Sound of Thunder sect will participate. Other than helping Brother Long to obtain the sovereign golden core, we also have to kill the disciples of the 5 major sects. Longao already knew what Dugu Bai had said. Thus, he was not surprised at all. However, what Longao could not understand was why the Sound of Thunder sect would only send 2 people, Dugu Bai and Xie Jun. After all, the rules of the battle of the 6 sects were very clear. Every sect could send 10 disciples. As if he could see the doubts in Longao's heart, Dugu Bai said in a serious tone, Brother Long, I believe you are aware of the open and covert struggles between the 6 major sects. In order to reduce the number of casualties, The sect decided to only send me and Xiao Jun to participate in the battle of the 6 sects. Now that you have joined, our chances will be much higher. Big Brother Dugu, forgive me for speaking bluntly. If the Sound of Thunder sect can think of this, I believe the other 5 major sects will think of it as well. Longao did not continue speaking, but the meaning in his words was very clear. Nodding his head, Dugu Bai said, "You are right. If there are no accidents, the other 5 major sects will send 2 or 3 disciples to this battle of the 6 sects. Adding up the disciples of the 6 major sects, there will be about 20 of them. I believe they should be in the top 20 of the wind cloud ranking." Longao knew clearly what Dugu Bai meant. The battle of the 6 sects for the sovereign golden core was actually a battle between the top 20 disciples of the wind cloud ranking. It was no wonder that the Sound of Thunder sect wanted to kill these disciples. Big Brother Dugu, my father and I have talked for a while. In this battle of the 6 sects, the Ghost King sect and the Golden Sun sect will definitely join forces. Therefore, we must be careful. Also, Miao Cheng will also participate in the battle of the 6 sects. Miao Cheng? Hearing Xia Jun mention Miao Cheng, Longao did not feel the slightest bit unfamiliar. The top 3 on the wind cloud ranking were Dugu Bai, Miao Cheng, and Zhong Zhihang. Now that Zhong Zhihang's ranking had been replaced by Longao, the wind cloud ranking had been revised. The first was Dugu Bai, the second was Miao Cheng, and the third was himself. As everyone knew, Zhong Zhihang's strength could not compete with the top 2 of the top 3 on the wind cloud ranking. The difference in strength was too great. Zhong Zhihang was only a peak earth sovereign martial artist, but Dugu Bai and Miao Cheng were genuine Dao ancestors. Dugu Bai was a peak Dao ancestor martial artist, while Miao Cheng was an advanced Dao ancestor martial artist. Hearing that Miao Cheng would also participate in the battle of the 6 sects, Dugu Bai's face became somewhat dignified. Big Brother Dugu, Miao Cheng has been wanting to defeat you for so many years, but he has never found a chance. It is said that after a year of closed-door cultivation, Miao Cheng's cultivation has officially broken through the peak Dao ancestor level. In this battle of the 6 sects, Miao Cheng will definitely challenge you to fight for the first place on the wind cloud ranking. Dugu Bai and Miao Cheng's talent was almost the same, but Dugu Bai's comprehension was better than Miao Cheng's. Therefore, Dugu Bai's strength had always been above Miao Cheng's for so many years. The second place would always be the second place. No one would be willing to be the second place forever. Because of this, Miao Cheng chose to go into closed-door cultivation for a year. He was lucky. Just as the battle of the 6 sects was about to begin, Miao Cheng's cultivation had smoothly broken through the peak Dao ancestor level and he was ready to fight for the first place on the wind cloud ranking. Dugu Bai knew very well that Miao Cheng's cultivation breakthrough meant that their realms were equal. If they really fought, it was hard to tell who would win and who would lose. Dugu Bai's face was full of confidence. He said, "I also want to see how strong Miao Cheng's strength is. Let's not talk about this. Brother Long, the battle of the 6 sects is about to begin. Master wants us to go to the Crying Ghost Ridge in advance to familiarize ourselves with the environment there." No problem. Longao's cultivation had smoothly broken through to the Human King realm. He was a little impatient because there was only one stage left in the 3 stages. As long as he could obtain the Sovereign Golden Core, he could go to the Ghost King sect and take away Aoshue. Chapter 207. Tianju, the border between the Inferno sect and the Sound of Thunder sect. A huge mountain range rose and fell like a giant dragon. The entire mountain range was majestic and was shrouded in fog all year round. In front of the huge mountain range, Brother Long, the Crying Ghost Ridge is within the mountain range. Looking at the huge mountain range in front of him, Longao felt relaxed because the entire mountain range had the ability to devour everything. It was like a giant dragon opening its mouth, swallowing the sky and the sun. The entire mountain range stretched as far as the eye could see. Longao never thought that the Crying Ghost Ridge would be within the mountain range. Not only Longao, but even Xia Jun sighed. It was not Xia Jun's first time here, but every time he came, he could not help but shudder as if he would be swallowed by the mountain range. Taking a deep breath, Xia Jun said, Brother Long, this mountain range is majestic. There was once a rumor that a senior stood at the bottom of the mountain range and looked at it. From there, he gained enlightenment and his strength broke through continuously, reaching the Void World Emperor realm. Longao nodded. He did not doubt Xia Jun's words at all. This was because he had already discovered that the entire mountain range was formed naturally. Other than giving off a majestic aura, it was as if the entire mountain range had merged with the heavens and earth. Within 1,000 miles of the entire mountain range, there's no one. Big Brother Dugu, why is that? Brother Long, you don't know. In the mountain range, there's a huge valley that's shrouded in clouds all year round. It's filled with resentment and yin energy. Every once in a while, this yin energy will spread out. Anyone who is shrouded in it will commit suicide. Hearing these words, Longao also sucked in a breath of cold air. There was no need to experience it personally. Just by thinking about it, one could imagine how terrifying the yin energy in the Crying Ghost Ridge was. Longao could not figure out why the 6 major sects would choose such a place to hold the so-called 6-sect battle royal. Were they looking for trouble? Brother Long, there's one more thing. According to generations of contenders, there's a forbidden area in the Crying Ghost Ridge. No matter what happens, don't enter the forbidden area. Forbidden area? The forbidden area in the Crying Ghost Ridge is the place with the densest yin energy in the entire mountain range. Even if a void warrior enters, he will be corroded by the yin energy and die without a burial place. Longao was startled. He knew very well what it meant to be a void realm cultivator. Even a void realm cultivator could not enter the forbidden land. One could imagine how terrifying the forbidden land of the Crying Ghost Ridge was. Brother Long, back then, many warriors from the 6 great sects entered the Crying Ghost Ridge forbidden land, but none of them came out. Because of this, many warriors placed a stone tablet outside the forbidden land. On it was written Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Land, Death to Trespassers. Hearing Dugu Bai's solemn words, Longao naturally wouldn't send himself to his death of Dugu of Dugu. Dugu. Both Longao and Xia Jun knew the seriousness of the matter. They nodded and said in unison, Big Brother Dugu, we understand. The 6 major sects, Ghost King Sect, Blood Sea Sect, Wind Lightning Sect, Golden Sun Sect, Blazing Flame Sect, and Sound of Thunder Sect, each sent 10 disciples to participate in the 6-sect tournament. However, they did not send 10 disciples. The 6 major sects were not fools. The 6 major sects were fighting for the sovereign golden pill. It was a battle between experts and geniuses. No matter how many people they sent, they would only be sending themselves to their deaths. Disciples who could enter the wind cloud list were all geniuses. The 6 major sects were not willing to lose them. It was unknown if it was intentional or just a coincidence, but the 6 major sects only sent 2 disciples. The 6 major sects had a total of 12 people. Including Longao, there were 13 people. It could be said that the 13 people from the 6 major sects were all ranked in the top 20 of the wind cloud list. They were geniuses among geniuses. Dusk. The disciples of the 6 major sects, including the master of the 6 major sects, were all present. They each occupied their own territory because the 6-sect tournament would officially begin tomorrow morning. At that time, the 13 people would try their best to fight for the sovereign golden pill. The sovereign golden pill was currently in Zhongmo's custody. Under pressure, he could only hand it over. The 6 major sects would enter the Crying Ghost Ridge and place it in a designated location. Later on, the 13 people would fight for the sovereign golden pill. As long as they could bring it out, it would be considered a success. As long as the sovereign golden pill did not leave the Crying Ghost Ridge, the others could fight for it. The Sound of Thunder sect sent 2 people, Xia Jun and Dugu Bai. As for Longao, he did not belong to any sect. He could be considered to be an independent participant in the 6-sect tournament. Longao, I have something to talk to you about. How about it? Du Hashuan, I have nothing to talk to you about. Longao despised Du Hashuan to the extreme. If he was strong enough, he would have attacked long ago. Du Hashuan did not leave. He sneered and said, if you don't want anything to happen to Linghu Ning and Ice Soul, follow me. Hearing about Linghu Ning and Ice Soul, Longao's face instantly darkened. He could guess what had happened. If there was no accident, Du Hushuan and Du Yunxian should have captured the two of them. Brother Long, what happened? Du Gubai and Xia Jun could naturally see that something was wrong. As for the grudge between the Blood River sect and Longao, the two of them naturally knew about it. Their faces were filled with worry. Waving his hand, Longao said, "I'll deal with this myself." After all, the other party was the Blood River sect. Longao did not want to implicate his friends, so he coldly followed Du Hushuan. Soon, they arrived at the Blood River sect's territory. "Longao, we meet again. Guanfeng, where are Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul?" Longao's face was extremely gloomy. He knew very well that if it were not for him, Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul would not have been captured. In the end, he had implicated his friends and the two of them. "All right, if that's the case, I'll get straight to the point. This time, when we enter the Crying Ghost Ridge, you have to help me get the Sovereign Golden Pill." "Impossible." Longao rejected without even thinking. This time, he had entered the Crying Ghost Ridge to participate in the Six Sects battle of the Six Sects to compete for the Sovereign Golden Pill. That was to take Ao Shuer away. How could he give it to the Blood Sea sect? "Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul are in my hands. I won't give you the Sovereign Golden Pill. If anything happens to Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul, I won't let the Blood River sect off. I'd like to see how many people in the Blood River sect can withstand my assassination." Longao definitely had the right to be arrogant. He had defeated Zhong Zhihang and taken a hit from Zhong Mo. If Longao really wanted to assassinate them, it would indeed be troublesome. The Blood River sect would probably suffer a great loss. Many thanks for everyone's support. The subscriptions are very good, so I'll continue with 30 chapters tomorrow. Please give your monthly tickets to Little 9. Thank you. Chapter 208. As expected, you are loyal. Guanfeng was not angry at all. He smiled and said, "It's very simple. As long as you do something for me, I will let your two friends go. How about it? Tell me." Longao did not immediately agree to Guanfeng's request because he did not know what conditions Guanfeng would give him. Could it be that he had to give up on Ao Shuer? "Longao, when you enter the Crying Ghost Ridge tomorrow, you have to help me take something out. Remember, do not tell anyone about this, or else." Guanfeng did not finish his words, but the meaning of his words was very clear. Guanfeng's spiritual sense transmitted into his mind. Longao's expression changed slightly, but he still agreed in the end because he could not let anything happen to his friends. Looking at the youth who had already left, Du Hushuan said worriedly, "Master, with Longao's strength, once he enters that place, won't he die?" Du Hushuan did not understand. If he wanted to kill Longao, why did he have to go through so much trouble? With the strength of the Blood Sea sect, it was simply a matter of minutes. The secret on Longao's body is far beyond our knowledge. So, if Longao enters that place, he might really be able to take out that treasure. I am looking forward to it. Master, Longao's secret, are we just going to give up like this? Du Hushuan was not an idiot. Of course, he knew what it meant to lock onto martial artists and change the flow of time. Once the sect obtained it, the overall strength of the Blood Sea sect would increase. However, Guanfeng shook his head and said, "Let's talk about this later. As long as the Blood Sea sect can obtain this treasure, dominating the Tianju region will not be a problem." Although he was unwilling in his heart, Du Hushuan did not continue to say anything. Du Hushuan did not know what the master was thinking. If Longao died in the Crying Ghost Ridge, then the method to lock onto martial artists and change the flow of time would be lost. "Brother Long, did the Blood Sea sect make things difficult for you?" Seeing Dugu Bai and Xia Jun's worry, Longao smiled and did not say anything. "It's fine. The Blood Sea sect only wanted to rope me in. I rejected them." Although they were curious, Dugu Bai and Xia Jun did not say anything. Xia Jun snorted coldly. "Of the six sects, the Blood Sea sect is the most shameless. Brother Long, you have to be careful." "Got it. Let's go. Father is looking for us." Longao, Dugu Bai, and Xia Jun arrived in front of Xia Fang. No matter what, The six sects battle royal would officially begin tomorrow morning. At that time, they would have to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge. The three of you, listen up. The sovereign golden pill has been placed in the Crying Ghost Ridge. This time, when you enter to fight for the sovereign golden pill, do not enter the forbidden area. Do you understand? Seeing the three of them nod, Xia Fang still seemed to be a little worried. Regardless of whether it was Dugu Bai or Xia Jun, the sect could not afford to lose them. No matter what happens, even if I don't want the sovereign golden pill, you have to come out alive. Don't worry, father. We will definitely come out alive. All right, go and rest. We will begin tomorrow morning. Longao, Xia Jun, and Dugu Bai immediately entered a state of cultivation. Because there were less than 12 hours until the six sects battle royal, they had to maintain their peak condition. Otherwise, if they were to relax, they would fall into a state of eternal damnation. Within the dragon seal space. With Xia Fang holding the fort, Longao was not worried at all. Therefore, his soul entered the dragon seal space without any restraint. Long Fu, can the dragon seal space absorb the baleful yin qi? It turned out that Guan Feng wanted Longao to enter the forbidden area of the Crying Ghost Ridge to search for a treasure as a condition for the safety of Linghu Ning and Ice Soul. As a friend, Longao clearly knew that he had to agree. Yes, but master, the dragon seal space is heavily damaged. I believe that even if it can absorb the baleful yin qi, it won't be of much use. However, master, there is someone who can help you solve all your problems. Who? Longao was surprised. He did not know who could help him solve the baleful yin qi. Could it be that Long Fu knew someone else? Long Ming can help you. Little guy. Longao was even more surprised. He asked, Long Fu, how can this little guy help me? Master, you don't know. This little guy is from the Nine Netherworld Tiger clan. Furthermore, it has mutated and is the natural nemesis of the baleful yin qi. If it can absorb enough baleful yin qi, not only can it use the sovereign golden pill to rapidly increase its strength, it can also bring you and Long Qiong to break through together. It would be a lie if he said that he was not surprised. Long Fu, will it be dangerous for this little guy to absorb the baleful yin qi? No. Hearing that there was no danger for this little guy to absorb the baleful yin qi, Longao finally let out a sigh of relief. In the following days, Longao wholeheartedly entered a state of meditation. The night was silent. On the second day, the first light of dawn had just arrived. The 13 people from the 6 major sects were already on the move. Each of them looked at each other vigilantly, fearing that they would be ambushed. Longao and the other 2 were the last to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge. As soon as they stepped in, the 3 of them could not help but shiver. A gust of baleful yin qi rushed towards them. If they did not block it in time, the baleful yin qi alone would be enough to corrode their bodies and souls. Brother Long, Xiao Jun, you must be careful. This is only the outermost baleful yin qi. When we enter the depths of the Crying Ghost Ridge later, the baleful yin qi will become stronger. Hearing this, Longao and Xia Jun both wanted to cry and laugh. Such a terrifying baleful yin qi was only in the outermost area. The 2 of them could not imagine how terrifying the baleful yin qi would be once they entered the depths of the Crying Ghost Ridge. Not daring to be careless, the 3 of them became vigilant. While resisting the baleful yin qi, they also had to deal with the disciples of the other sects who could start a fight at any time. This 6 sects battle royal was nominally to compete for the sovereign golden pill. However, the 6 sects did not have any rules that forbade killing each other. Longao, I would like to see who can help you today. At this moment, Zhong Zhihang's voice sounded. At this moment, Zhong Zhihang, Gui Li, Gui Tu, and Hao Zheng walked over. Zhong Zhihang and Hao Zheng belonged to the Golden Sun sect, while Gui Li and Gui Tu belonged to the Ghost King sect. The 2 sects had joined forces to kill Longao and have a chance to obtain the sovereign golden pill. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes turn red. Zhong Zhihang was ranked 3rd on the wind cloud list, but he was defeated by Longao in front of everyone, dropping from 3rd to 4th. Zhong Zhihang would definitely settle this score. Also, if it wasn't for Longao's interference in his wedding with Aoshue, he believed that he would have already gotten the beauty back. In the end, the culprit was this person in front of him. Zhongjihang, do you have any shame? Stopping the angry Xie Jun, Longao only sneered, you're just a loser. Chapter 209. A loser. Zhongjihang was indeed a loser under Longao's hands, even if he was unwilling to admit it. In this life, Zhongjihang's greatest shame was losing to Longao. Moreover, it was in front of everyone in the world. He had completely lost everything. Zhongjihang's face was cold as he clenched his fists tightly. This time, Zhongjihang gathered the strength of 4 people to eliminate Longao. However, at this moment, Dugu Bai, who had been silent all this while, suddenly said, Zhongjihang, it seems like you're very arrogant. Hearing Dugu Bai's words, Zhongjihang's heart thumped. Forcing a smile, Zhongjihang said, Big brother Dugu, this is a personal grudge between me and Longao. I hope Big brother Dugu won't interfere. Zhongjihang was currently ranked 4th on the wind cloud list. Longao had replaced him, and he was now ranked 3rd. Others might not know, but how could Zhongjihang not know how big the gap between him, Dugu Bai, and Miao Cheng was? Dao Ancestor, an existence at the peak of the transformation realm. Personal grudge. Dugu Bai sneered. Dugu Bai was emitting a powerful aura. There was no need to fight. Everyone's aura had already lost to Dugu Bai. This was the capital of strength. Big brother Dugu, could it be that you want to interfere? Zhongjihang was no fool. Of course he knew that Dugu Bai was acting like this because he wanted to interfere in this matter. Because of this, his expression became extremely gloomy and unsightly. Zhongjihang knew that if Dugu Bai really interfered, the consequences would be unimaginable. Not to mention killing Longao, he might not even be able to leave Crying Ghost Ridge alive. Dugu Bai, long time no see. How have you been? At this moment, the young master of Blazing Flame sect, Huoteng, and another youth walked over with a cold and lazy expression. Seeing Huoteng and Huoteng, Zhongjihang's face turned even uglier. On the wind cloud list, there were 2 people that he feared the most. They were the first on the wind cloud list, Dugu Bai, and the second, Miao Cheng. Now that the competition for the Sovereign Golden Pill had not officially started, and Dugu Bai and Miao Cheng were already here, who would dare to continue? Blazing Flame sect and Sound of Thunder sect were the 2 most popular sects in the competition for the Sovereign Golden Pill. So it's Miao Cheng. After a year of closed-door training, you finally broke through to the peak of the Dao Ancestor realm. Congratulations. Brother Dugu, there's no need to be so courteous. I've been in seclusion for a year because of you. Since we've met here, why don't we have a battle? I really want to see if Brother Dugu is still as powerful as before. Defeating Dugu Bai was Miao Cheng's lifelong wish. Otherwise, Miao Cheng would not have gone into closed-door cultivation for a year. At this moment, Dugu Bai and Miao Cheng were both warriors at the peak of the Dao Ancestor realm. If they fought, it would be hard to tell who would win. However, Dugu Bai smiled and said, Miao Cheng, if you want to fight, I'll accompany you at any time. However, I can't do that now, because I want to seize the Sovereign Golden Core. Well, since Brother Dugu doesn't want to fight with me, then I'll compete with Brother Dugu and see if I can get the Sovereign Golden Core first. Looking at the 2 who were like fire and water, everyone felt extremely depressed. Whether it was Miao Cheng or Dugu Bai, they were both genuine warriors at the peak of the Dao Ancestor realm. If the 2 of them were determined to get the Sovereign Golden Core, wouldn't the others have no chance at all? Longao, fight with me if you have the guts. I've just said that you're just a loser. Longao, Xie Jun and Dugu Bai were too lazy to care about Zhongjihang. They turned and left. With Dugu Bai's deterrence, Zhongjihang dared not to speak out or attack. He could only feel anger in his heart. Longao, I'll tear you to pieces sooner or later. The 3 of them went straight to the location of the Sovereign Golden Core. According to Xie Fang, the location of the Sovereign Golden Core was very dangerous, so everyone had to be alert and not be careless. Brother Dugu, Miao Cheng is obviously targeting you this time, so we have to be careful. Dugu Bai nodded. He knew Xia Jun's worries and said, Miao Cheng is very talented, but he's too narrow-minded. Otherwise, he would have reached the Void Realm long ago. Sigh, it was all for nothing. Brother Dugu, what should we do now? Help Brother Long get the Sovereign Golden Core. I'll fight with Miao Cheng next. It's time to settle the grudge between us. Dugu Bai and Miao Cheng represented the two strongest people in the younger generation of Tianju. Because of this, both Miao Cheng and Dugu Bai wanted to fight for the first place. Especially Miao Cheng, he always dreamed of defeating Dugu Bai. Brother Long, it's obvious that Zhong Zhihang, Gui Li, and the others are here for you in the Six Sects Battle of the Six Sects. Therefore, you should be extra careful. If we're separated, you just need to leave this place as soon as possible. As for the 9 Heavens Supremacy Pill, I'll definitely get it for you. Thank you. The Crying Ghost mountain range was covered in black fog all year long. It was also filled with resentment and yin qi. If one stayed in the Crying Ghost mountain range for too long, they would be corroded by the yin qi. If they couldn't get rid of it, they would become a complete killer. Once their heart was corroded, they would become nothing more than a tool for killing. Because of this, no one was willing to step into the Crying Ghost mountain range. As for why the 6 sects chose this place, they all had their own motives. Deep in the Crying Ghost mountain range, on top of a huge rock, there was a small hole with a golden core placed inside. It was the Sovereign Golden Core. The Sovereign Golden Pellet was formed by the accumulation of all the energy of a martial saint after his death. It was extremely beneficial to a martial saint. Once consumed by a martial saint, the chances of breaking through to the martial saint realm would be greatly increased. This was also the real reason why everyone wanted to obtain the Sovereign Golden Pellet. The Sovereign Golden Pill was personally placed by the 6 great sects, so the disciples naturally knew the exact location of the Sovereign Golden Pill. It was precisely because of this that in less than 8 people, 13 people had already gathered around the huge rock, each of them staring intently at the Sovereign Golden Pill within the huge rock. None of the 13 people acted rashly, because everyone knew that once someone made the first move, they would immediately be attacked by the group. Therefore, everyone was waiting for someone to lose his patience. Just like this, time passed bit by bit. The Sovereign Golden Core was clearly in front of them, but no one went up to fight for it. It was a strange phenomenon. Everyone was afraid of the others. The 2 strongest among them, Miao Cheng and Dugu Bai, also didn't dare to act rashly. Although they were peak Dao ancestors, it was not worth it to become the target of everyone's attack. What's more, Miao Cheng had been staring at Dugu Bai. His intention was very clear. He wanted to stop Dugu Bai from snatching the Sovereign Golden Core. Chapter 210. Brother Long, wait for me and Big Brother Dugu to distract the others. You go and snatch the Sovereign Golden Core. How could Longao not know Xia Jun's intention? But could he do that? As a friend, Longao knew that he had to think for his friend. He couldn't harm his friend. So Longao wouldn't agree. Little Jun is right. Brother Long, success or failure depends on this. Miao Cheng and I can't avoid a battle. Since that's the case, I'll fight him later. Without waiting for Dugu Bai to finish speaking, Longao's body suddenly moved. He couldn't implicate Xia Jun and Dugu Bai. Thinking of this, Longao decisively made the first move. Seeing Longao's sudden action, both Xia Jun and Dugu Bai were deeply moved. How could they not know what Longao meant? Without any hesitation, Dugu Bai and Xia Jun also rushed out. Longao's first move completely shocked everyone. But at this moment, a shocking scene occurred. Everyone's face was filled with disbelief. It turned out that when Longao shot out, he had already activated the God Sealing Pearl and the God Punishing Mirror. Not only did he lock onto everyone around him, but he also made the time flow backward by 3 seconds. For others, 3 seconds of time flow was equivalent to Longao's speed could be accelerated by 3 seconds. What kind of concept was that? He had to admit that the God Punishing Mirror and God Sealing Pearl were indeed powerful. But the consumption of soul energy was also terrifying. But since things had already reached this stage, Longao couldn't care about anything else. Just when everyone, including Miao Cheng, was shocked, Longao had already successfully arrived on top of the boulder. His heart was filled with joy. Enduring the weakness of his soul, he took out the sovereign golden core from the boulder. But at this moment, a ray of light shot out from the bottom of the sovereign golden core. With a scream, Longao's body was sent flying. His soul was heavily injured. If it wasn't for Long Fu using the dragon seal space to block half of the attack, just this attack alone would have been enough to take Longao's life. Seeing Longao flying out, Ghost Li and Zhong Zhihang were overjoyed. They both knew that with Du Gu Bai and Miao Cheng fighting, they had no hope of obtaining the sovereign golden core. Because of this, Zhong Zhihang and Miao Cheng shot towards Longao. Xie Jun and Du Gu Bai were also shocked. They didn't dare to hesitate. They also shot towards Longao. However, Miao Cheng would not give Du Gu Bai the chance to do so. He directly went to find Du Gu Bai. Regardless of whether Du Gu Bai was willing or not, he directly attacked. Not only that, it was unknown whether it was intentional or not, but the others also entangled Xie Jun at the same time. This way, Longao became alone, and his soul was heavily injured. The situation was extremely dangerous. His soul was heavily injured. When his soul was attacked, Longao immediately understood what was going on. If he guessed correctly, the soul attack from the sovereign golden core was done by Zhong Mo to kill him. If it wasn't for Long Fu's help, he would have already died. Zhong Mo was shameless to the extreme. Enduring the weakness of his soul, Longao turned around and shot towards the distance. Zhong Zhihang and the rest clearly didn't intend to let him go. They immediately chased after him. Zhong Zhihang, if you dare to touch Longao, I'll tear you to pieces. Although he was afraid of Du Gu Bai, Zhong Zhihang did not place Du Gu Bai in his heart in this sort of situation. That was because Zhong Zhihang had already decided that even if he had to provoke Du Gu Bai, he would still kill Longao. Cutting the weeds and eliminating the roots, aside from getting back his face, it was also to eliminate all future troubles. Du Gu Bai and Xie Jun were infuriated to the extreme. But the two of them were tightly entangled and couldn't get away to save Longao. Du Gu Bai and Xie Jun could imagine that Longao, who was heavily injured, could resist Zhong Zhihang's pursuit. The answer was obviously no, even if Longao had the God-punishing mirror and God-sealing pearl. Longao felt weak in his mind, but he was still holding on. Longao knew clearly that once he couldn't hold on, he would definitely die. Unknowingly, Longao was chased to the point where he had nowhere to go. He came to a place with extremely terrifying baleful yin qi. There was a stone slab in front of him, with the words crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds. Trespassers shall die. Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds. In a daze, Longao looked at the words on the stone slab. He knew clearly that he had been chased to the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds. Before entering the Crying Ghost Ridge, no matter if it was Du Gu Bai, Xie Jun, or Xie Fang, they had repeatedly warned him not to enter the forbidden area of the Crying Ghost Ridge at any time. That was because no one who entered the Crying Ghost Ridge could come out alive. However, things had already reached this point. Did he have the right to choose? Even if he was unwilling to enter, Longao still chose to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds in the end. Actually, Longao and Guan Feng had already agreed that Longao would enter the Forbidden Grounds to retrieve an item. However, he would have to enter in perfect condition. Longao's soul was heavily injured. Whether he entered or not, he would die. Since he would die either way, Longao wasn't willing to die at the hands of Zhong Zhihang and the others. Without further hesitation, Longao shot out like an arrow. In the blink of an eye, he had already entered the Forbidden Grounds. Black mist swirled around, making it impossible to see the situation inside the Forbidden Grounds. Zhong Zhihang, Ghost Li, and the others naturally didn't have the guts to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds. They all stared at the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds in front of them. Zhong Zhihang suddenly sneered. "Chimph, Longao, you asked for it. You can't blame others. Zhong Zhihang, I'll kill you." Du Gu Bai and Xie Jun rushed over. When they saw Longao being forced to enter the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Grounds, the two were completely enraged. They ignored everything and shot towards Zhong Zhihang and Ghost Li. Startled, Zhong Zhihang and Ghost Li naturally didn't dare to face Dugubai head-on. Under normal circumstances, the two of them wouldn't be able to escape. However, the current situation was different. Without taking revenge for Dugubai, Miao Cheng rushed out and fiercely fought with Dugubai. "Miao Cheng, you and I can fight at any time. I'll kill them first." Sneering in his heart, Miao Cheng was no fool. He naturally knew that Dugubai's state of mind was in chaos. This was the perfect opportunity for him to make his move. In his entire life, Miao Cheng had always wanted to defeat his opponent. Why would he give up such a rare opportunity so easily? Miao Cheng didn't say anything. Just like this, each move was stronger than the last. Xie Jun's result was the same. He was besieged by Zhong Zhihang and Ghost Li. In just a few minutes, he was already riddled with wounds. Whether it was Dugubai or Xie Jun, the two of them clearly knew that if this continued, the two of them would definitely lose. As the saying goes, revenge is never too late. There was no need to fight head-on. Because of this, Dugubai and Xie Jun fiercely pushed the crowd away and quickly left. Chapter 211. Crying Ghost Ridge. Black fog shrouded the Forbidden Land, stretching as far as the eye could see. After being schemed against by Zhong Mo, his soul was severely injured. Helpless, he entered the Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Land. Longao could not care about anything else, falling to the ground. Long Fu appeared beside Longao without any expression on his face. "Little fellow, devour as much baleful yin energy as you want. Take advantage of this opportunity to break through to peak sovereign personage." Just at this moment, Long Mo suddenly appeared. His small body started ferociously devouring the surrounding baleful yin energy. The 9 Netherworld Underworld Tiger was the nemesis of baleful yin energy in the first place. Ignoring the little fellow, Long Fu arrived before Longao and extended his right hand. A strong soul energy entered Longao's body and started repairing Longao's soul. A blessing in disguise. After an unknown amount of time, Long Fu said this sentence and returned to the Dragon Raw space once more. Inside the forbidden area, only the unconscious Longao and Long Ming, who was constantly devouring the baleful yin energy, were left. "Ah, it hurts." Baring his teeth, Longao opened his eyes with much difficulty. He slowly got up from the ground and looked around. He discovered black fog shrouded the surroundings, and waves of baleful yin energy assaulted him. Longao ignored the baleful yin energy. He had already noticed the little fellow devouring baleful yin energy beside him. He did not disturb it, nor did he hesitate. He immediately sat down cross-legged and started recuperating. 6 hours later, inside the Dragon Seal space, Longao said, "Long Fu, many thanks for this." Longao knew who saved him. This time, Zhong Mo schemed against him, severely injuring his soul. If not for Long Fu saving him in time, he would have died already. "Zhong Mo, Golden Sun Sect Master, the injury to your soul this time might be a good thing for you." "Why?" Longao felt very curious. He did not know what Long Fu meant. "Master, your soul was severely injured this time, but I've already helped you heal it. Furthermore, with the help of the injuries to your soul has at least doubled in size." Longao naturally knew what Long Fu meant. If his soul force was doubled, wouldn't that mean that his soul attack would be doubled? He was overjoyed. If what Long Fu said was true, then wouldn't it be a blessing in disguise for him? "Master, I've already sensed it earlier. This so-called Crying Ghost Ridge Forbidden Area has a very powerful dragon. Furthermore, it's a demonic dragon. Thus, you must be careful. You must not wake him up." "Devil dragon?" Longao was very shocked, because he never thought that there would be a giant dragon in the Crying Ghost Ridge. No wonder the Crying Ghost Ridge was so strong, one could enter but not leave. After leaving the Dragon Seal space, Longao picked up the little fellow, who had already finished devouring. He discovered that after not seeing it for a few days, the little fellow's cultivation had already broken through to sovereign personage. He was very shocked that the little fellow had become a sovereign personage in such a short amount of time. Longao was even more clear in his heart that the reason why the little fellow was able to break through his strength so quickly was not only because he had already signed a contract with him, but also because he had the help of Long Fu and devoured the surrounding baleful yin qi. Little fellow, you rest first. After devouring the baleful yin energy, Long Ming felt very tired. He nodded and dove into Long Ao's embrace, snoring loudly. Long Ao did not leave the forbidden area, because he had already promised Guan Feng to help the Blood Sea sect obtain a treasure. If he could not obtain it, then Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul would be in danger. Raising his guard, Long Ao carefully walked into the depths of the forbidden area. Long Ao discovered something. The deeper he went, the more terrifying the baleful yin energy was. He had to circulate his entire body's energy to resist. If he relaxed even slightly, he would be corroded by the baleful yin energy. In the end, there was no other way. Long Ao could no longer resist the corrosion of the baleful yin energy, so he could only ask the little fellow for help. It had to be said that the Netherworld tiger was the nemesis of the baleful yin energy. Not only was it not afraid of corrosion, it directly devoured the surrounding baleful yin energy, allowing Long Ao to smoothly enter the forbidden area. Long Ao fiercely swallowed his saliva and stood there in a daze, looking at the huge creature in front of him. A huge dragon, a huge black dragon. Long Ao clearly knew that the huge black dragon in front of him was the demonic dragon that Long Fu had mentioned. After sensing it slightly, Long Ao was certain that the strength of the huge black dragon in front of him was above that of a martial saint. Although he had never seen a martial saint before, he had sensed the power of a martial saint's golden core. A Nihility realm demonic dragon. Looking at the snoring demonic dragon, Long Ao did not dare to wake it up. According to what Guan Feng had said, the treasure that the Blood Sea sect needed was a spiritual beast egg. At the beginning, Long Ao had been suspicious of what kind of spiritual beast's egg it was for the Blood Sea sect to be so interested in it. Now, it seemed that the egg that the Blood Sea sect wanted was clearly a dragon egg. In other words, the Blood Sea sect already knew that there was a demonic dragon in the forbidden area. Lin Yun fiercely swallowed his saliva. Trying to snatch the demonic dragon's child in front of it was no different from trying to pull a tooth out of a tiger's mouth. After carefully observing, Long Ao did not find any dragon's egg. Suddenly, he saw a small demonic dragon sleeping beside the demonic dragon. Without a doubt, the dragon's egg had already hatched and turned into a small dragon. Without the dragon's egg, the agreement between him and the Blood Sea sect would be void. Long Ao did not want to die in vain. He knew how powerful the demonic dragon in front of him was. Long Ao turned around and prepared to leave. Shameless human, you dare to enter my territory? You can stay here. Long Ao, who had just turned around and didn't have time to leave, was instantly enveloped by a terrifying baleful aura. He was shocked and suddenly turned his head and asked in surprise, "You can actually speak human language?" Long Ao was incomparably shocked. Everyone knew that spiritual beasts could not speak human language. But now, ha ha ha, ignorant human, what's so difficult about speaking? You can even transform into human form. Lin Yun fiercely swallowed his saliva. If he did not see it with his own eyes, he would not have believed it even if he was beaten to death. He helplessly said, "Senior demonic dragon, I came here for your child. To tell you the truth, it's for my friend. At first, I was prepared to take your child in exchange for my friend's safety." Long Ao's honest words shocked the demonic dragon. If Long Ao was making things up, the demonic dragon would not have given him any chance to speak. "Boy, at least you're honest. But since you trespassed into my territory, you must die. However, I can make your death quick. Now, you can choose how you want to die." Long Ao was very depressed. This was the first time he had seen a way to make him choose death. The demonic dragon was very arrogant, but Long Ao knew that the demonic dragon had the qualifications to be arrogant. Otherwise, it would not have said such a thing. Chapter 212. Kid, you're not willing? Of course not, unless I'm an idiot. Ha ha ha, kid, I have to say that you're really honest. I like your honesty. Alright, I'll give you a chance. As long as you can resist my aura suppression, I'll let you go. Could he choose? Before Longao was ready, an unparalleled aura erupted from the demonic dragon's body and directly suppressed him, covering the sky and the earth. Catcher! Longao was shocked and his face instantly turned as pale as paper. His body was on the verge of collapse. His feet were pressed into the ground by the aura suppression. Mo Long's strength was far beyond his understanding. Circulating all the power in his body, Longao found that he was still unable to resist Mo Long's aura suppression. The gap between their realms was too great. Wanting to resist the aura suppression was like a fool's dream. Master, draw the aura suppression into the dragon seal space. Just as Longao was about to give up, he suddenly heard Long Fu's words. Overjoyed, he immediately communicated with the dragon seal with his soul and drew the aura into the dragon seal space. It was like a small river flowing into the sea. No matter how Mo Long suppressed his aura, Longao still seemed relaxed. Because of this, Mo Long felt that something was wrong. Mo Long had full confidence in his own strength. Not to mention that the other party was just a transformation realm warrior. Even a nothingness realm warrior would not be able to resist his aura suppression. Withdrawing his aura, Mo Long asked in surprise, "Kid, I want to know how you did it." Mo Long was not only arrogant and overbearing, he was also strong. He directly asked to know, not to ask. This was the capital of strength, and Mo Long had this capital. "Forgive me for not being able to tell you. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you?" "I'm afraid, but I won't back down when it's a matter of principle. Senior Mo Long, if you want to kill me, then kill me. There's no need to talk nonsense." Although he had only just met Mo Long, Longao seemed to have understood Mo Long's temperament. However, Mo Long was still Mo Long. He did not continue to talk nonsense and began to suppress his aura. At this time, a dragon's roar sounded and Long Chong's body appeared in mid-air. The dragon's roar resounded throughout the forbidden space. Looking at the giant dragon that suddenly appeared in mid-air, Mo Long's expression changed. Even the sleeping Mo Longao. Long, and he told Mo Long how he entered the Dragon Valley and how he accidentally obtained the dragon egg. After listening, Mo Long nodded and said, "Boy, your luck. Remember, no matter what happens, you must treat the little guy well. You may leave." "You want us to leave?" Mo Long didn't say anything else. He closed his eyes and continued to sleep. Seeing Mo Long fall asleep, Longao was shocked. He knew that Mo Long didn't let him go because of him, but because of Long Chong. Could it be that Mo Long was also afraid of Long Chong? Under normal circumstances, Mo Long shouldn't be afraid of Long Chong with his strength. But the truth was right in front of him. Even if he didn't believe it, it was still the truth. However, Longao didn't hesitate. Since Mo Long chose not to deal with him, Longao didn't stay either. Who knows if Mo Long would suddenly change his mind and leave with Long Chong? Mo Long suddenly opened his eyes. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, Mo Long suddenly said to himself, "Reincarnated body. I hope the Dragon Clan can be revived." Longao didn't hear Mo Long's words. He left the forbidden area smoothly and breathed a sigh of relief. After calculating the time, Longao found that it had been 10 days since he entered the forbidden area of Crying Ghost Ridge. He believed that the disciples of the 6 major sects had already left. In other words, he was the only one left in Crying Ghost Ridge. Zhongmo, Zhongjihang, Golden Sun Sect. I will definitely get my revenge. Clenching his fists, Longao looked in the direction of Golden Sun Sect. First, he was schemed against by Long Chong. His soul was severely injured and he almost died. Then, he was chased by Zhongjihang and forced into the forbidden area. If it wasn't for Long Chong, would he still be able to come out? Sound of Thunder Sect. Brother Dugu, does Brother Long have a chance to come out alive after entering the forbidden area of Crying Ghost Ridge? Whether it was Dugu Bai or Xia Jun, both of them felt deeply guilty about the battle of the 6 sects. However, they couldn't do anything about it. The two of them didn't expect that the Flame Sect, Ghost King Sect, Blood Sea Sect, and Golden Sun Sect would join hands to deal with them. They wanted to deal with Longao. Dugubai sighed deeply and said helplessly, "You and I both know what the forbidden area of Crying Ghost Ridge means. Brother Long has been forced into the forbidden area. The chance of him coming out alive is less than 10%. Dugubai didn't continue, but the meaning in his words was clear. Xia Jun also sighed deeply. Suddenly, a powerful murderous aura erupted from his body. He said, "Brother Dugu, no matter what happens, I will avenge Brother Long. Zhong Zhihong must die." Nodding, Dugubai said coldly, "After this period of time, I believe that Zhong Zhihong won't leave Golden Sun sect in a short period of time. Therefore, we must wait patiently. However, we will definitely avenge Brother Long. Don't act recklessly. Father. Master." Seeing Master Xia Fang suddenly appear, both Dugubai and Xia Jun were surprised. They didn't know why he stopped the two of them. As if he could see the confusion in the two's hearts, Xia Fang said seriously, "Just now, Zhong Mo and the other 4 sects came to find me to discuss the Battle of the 9 States. Therefore, the most important thing right now is to settle the Battle of the 9 States. As for the other matters, we will deal with them later." When Dugubai and Xia Jun heard about the Battle of the 9 States, their faces were filled with anticipation. However, when they thought about how they hadn't avenged Longao, their expressions instantly turned cold. "The two of you should know what the Battle of the 9 States means to our Tianju. If we delay, Golden Sun sect will join hands with the other sects and we will become very passive." Chapter 213. The 9 Prefectures Battle. The Sky Martial continent was divided into 9 prefectures: Earth Prefecture, Sun Prefecture, Moon Prefecture, Setting Sun Prefecture, Cloud Prefecture, Scarlet Prefecture, Illusion Prefecture, and Black Forest Prefecture. Every 10 years, the 9 prefectures would hold a battle. The meaning of the 9 prefectures battle was very simple. It was a battle between the people on the rankings of the prefectures. In the 9 prefectures, the Sky Prefecture was ranked first, but in every battle, they were ranked last. Because of this, the 6 great sects attached great importance to the 9 prefectures battle. The 9 prefectures had a total of 9 rankings, and each ranking had 100 people. With the 9 rankings added together, there were over 1,000 people. Over 1,000 people were competing for the top 10 spots. Not only would they receive generous rewards, but they would also become famous throughout the continent. It could be said that the 9 prefectures battle gathered all the super geniuses of the Sky Martial continent. Deeply sighing, Dugubai and Xia Jun clearly knew that the 9 prefectures battle was very important to the 6 great sects. If it was delayed because of the sects, it would attract unnecessary trouble. "I know that you are unwilling, but I hope that you can understand what is more important." After Xia Fang left, Dugubai and Xia Jun looked at each other and saw a trace of determination in each other's eyes. Even if they couldn't take revenge for now, they had to. Ghost King Sect. Longao didn't come out, and Ghost King Ao Tien felt a little helpless. After all, the Sovereign Golden Core had followed Longao into the Crying Ghost Ridge. In other words, he would never be able to obtain the Sovereign Golden Core. Without obtaining the Sovereign Golden Core, Ao Tien didn't even dare to mention it to Aoshue. He knew his daughter's character too well. If Aoshue knew that Longao was dead, Aoshue would definitely follow him. Beside the lotus pond. Sitting quietly and looking at the lotus pond, Aoshue didn't have any expression on her face. "Aoshue." Hearing the voice behind her, Aoshue's body trembled. She couldn't help but cry. She suddenly turned around and looked at the youth who had suddenly appeared. She couldn't hold it in any longer and threw herself at him. The person who had just appeared was Longao. Longao hugged Aoshue tightly. Of course, he knew Aoshue's pain. The two of them didn't say much. Everything was in silence. Longao let go of Aoshue. Seeing that Longao was still alive, Ao Tien was very surprised. He never thought that Longao, who had entered the forbidden area of the Crying Ghost Ridge, would be able to leave the forbidden area so smoothly. "Father. Ghost King, this is the Sovereign Golden Pill. I have completed all 3 of your tests. Can I take Aoshue away now?" Sovereign Golden Core. Holding back the surprise in his heart, Ao Tien took the sovereign golden core from Longao. He couldn't wait to go into seclusion to cultivate, but he knew that there were many things that he needed to do. He said, I have passed the 3 tests. I won't ask about you and Aoshue. As for the Golden Sun sect, I will talk to them myself. Longao, I am relieved to hand my daughter over to you. Aoshue, tell Longao what I told you before. Looking at Ao Tien who was leaving, Longao did not have the slightest bit of resentment because Ao Tien was the sect leader of the Ghost King sect. Before he did anything, he had to first consider the interests of the Ghost King sect, although he despised Ao Tien in his heart. Holding Longao's hand and sitting down, Aoshue and Longao talked about their love. After a long time, Aoshue suddenly said, Longao, father told me that the Battle of the 9 States will begin in a month. As the third on the Battle of the 9 States, you must represent Tianju. The Battle of the 9 States? Aoshue told Longao everything about the Battle of the 9 States. After listening to her, Longao had a rough understanding of the Battle of the 9 States. It seemed that he couldn't refuse. In truth, Longao was looking forward to the Battle of the 9 States. That was because the Martial Heaven continent was divided into 9 states. Under normal circumstances, it would be very difficult for him to come into contact with the young cultivators of the other 8 states. The Battle of the 9 States was a rare opportunity. Longao, will you participate in the Battle of the 9 States? Longao smiled and asked, do you want me to participate? I don't. The Battle of the 9 States is very dangerous. If you aren't careful, you can lose your life. But I know that as a man, I have to do what a man should do. I just want you to promise me one thing. No matter what, you have to protect yourself. You have to remember that I will always be waiting for you. Hearing Aoshue's words, Longao was very moved. Longao, I want to ask you one thing. I hope you can promise me. Say it. As long as it's something I can do, I will definitely do it for you. Whether it's climbing a mountain of blades or diving into a sea of flames. Although father was wrong, no matter what, he is still my father. So I want to continue staying in the Ghost King sect. I will leave on the day you marry me. So it was about this. Although he didn't want Aoshue to continue staying in the Ghost King sect, Longao put himself in her shoes. If he were to encounter such a situation, what would he do? So Longao didn't hesitate and nodded, of course. When I am strong enough, I will definitely come and marry you. Aoshue smiled. Longao also smiled. After staying in the Ghost King sect for a day and a night, Longao left the Ghost King sect early in the morning. Longao's meaning was very simple. If he wanted to protect his lover and family, he couldn't stop. Because his current strength was far from enough. Not to mention the Nihility realm, even the transformation realm had not reached the peak. There was still a month before the 9 states ranking. Longao prepared to return to his family first. He believed that his family already knew that he caused a ruckus in the Ghost King sect. Because of this, Longao knew very well that his parents must be worried to death about him. Scarlet Fire Town. The current Scarlet Fire Town was no longer the same as before. With the strong support of the Thunder Empire and the Thunder Sect, in just a few months, the Scarlet Fire Town had expanded by 3 times. Even Thundercloud City paled in comparison to the Scarlet Fire Town. Scarlet Fire Town. Under normal circumstances, with the current size of the Scarlet Fire Town, it should be renamed Scarlet Fire City. However, the Long family insisted on not changing it. As the local tyrant of the Scarlet Fire Town, the Long family's will was the imperial edict. Who dared to go against it? Longao, whether it was status or other aspects, far surpassed the Long family. Because everyone knew that the reason the Long family could rise so powerfully was because of one person. That was Longao, a heavenly genius, a legendary figure. Longao was now a godlike existence in the Scarlet Fire Town. Many people worshipped him and even worshipped him like a god. Because of this, when Longao just stepped into the Scarlet Fire Town, everyone in the town knew that Longao had returned. They were completely stirred up. Chapter 214. Seeing everyone so excited and looking at him as if he was a monster, Longao couldn't get used to it. He was a monster. He didn't stay any longer and sped up. Soon, he was back at the family. The Long family was 10 times bigger than before. It was very luxurious. As soon as he stepped into the family, Longao was also shocked because all his brothers and sisters were standing outside the main hall to welcome him. Among them were his grandfather, parents, second uncle, third uncle, and so on. Grandfather, father, mother, third uncle, Longao greeted them one by one. No matter how powerful Longao was, no matter how many life and death situations he faced outside, as long as he returned to the family, he could completely calm down, especially when he saw his family. Good, good, good. It's good that you're back. Mu Lin couldn't help but cry. She held Longao's hand and looked left and right, afraid that something would happen to her son. This was home. This was family. No matter what happened, family would never change. Main hall. After everyone was dismissed, Grandfather Long Haosha, Father Long Yi, and the others sat down. As for Mu Lin, she didn't stay. We've understood the matter between you and the Ghost King sect. Has it been resolved? Long Haosha and the others were most concerned about the Ghost King sect and the Golden Sun sect. Everyone knew that the Golden Sun sect and the Golden Sun sect dominated the Tianju. With Ao's strength alone, it was impossible to shake the Golden Sun sect and the Golden Sun sect. Nodding, Long Ao didn't want his family to worry about this. He smiled and said, "It's all resolved. Don't worry. Remember, no matter what happens, this will always be your home. If you're tired, come back. Even if we die, we'll be with you." The more his grandfather was like this, the more Long Ao knew that he couldn't implicate his family. "Grandpa, I just came back. Why is everyone so excited as if they're on steroids?" Long Ao was very curious about this. Did the people of the Scarlet Fire town go crazy? They looked at him as if he was a monster. "It's all because of you." Long Haosha smiled. Everyone laughed. This time, Long Ao was even more curious. Was it all because of him? You are now the idol of everyone in the Scarlet Fire town. You haven't come back for such a long time, so everyone in the Scarlet Fire town is very happy and excited to see you. It turned out to be such a reason. Long Ao was very helpless, but he didn't say anything. "Grandfather, did the family receive the beast cores and corpses of the spirit beasts that I asked someone to send back?" Shaking his head, Long Haosha said, "No." Sure enough, it seemed that Ling Hu Ning and Ice Soul had indeed been captured by the Bloodsea sect. His mood instantly became heavy. After chatting with his family for a while, Long Ao returned to his own small courtyard. The Long family had 2 forbidden areas. The first was Long Ao's small courtyard, and the other was the backyard. After resting for a while, Long Ao left and went to the backyard. In the Long family, other than Long Ao, who could casually enter the backyard, no matter who it was, even Long Haosha did not dare to step in. "Kid, you're finally back." Long Ao was more respectful and grateful to the Fire Qilin. No matter what, as long as the Fire Qilin was in the family, no one in the Tianju or even the mainland could harm the family. "Big brother Qilin, here are all the spirit herbs you need." Putting down all the spirit herbs, a total of 3 portions, was enough for the Fire Qilin to recover. However, Long Ao didn't leave. He wanted to say something, but didn't know how to say it. The Fire Qilin was an old fox. How could he not see that Long Ao had something wrong? Snorting, the Fire Qilin said unhappily, "If you have something to say, just say it. Don't hesitate. Big brother Qilin, to be honest, 2 of my friends have been captured by the Bloodsea sect. With my strength, I can't save them, so I want to ask Senior Qilin to help. If my identity is exposed, I can't continue to stay in the Long family. Big brother Qilin, I've thought about it. With your strength, if you want to save 2 people from the Bloodsea sect, you can do it without anyone knowing." Although he didn't know what realm the Fire Qilin was in, Long Ao was sure of one thing. The Fire Qilin's strength was above the honorable realm. In other words, the Fire Qilin was at least in the honorable realm. If the Fire Qilin in the honorable realm wanted to save 2 people from the Bloodsea sect, it would be easy. If it was the fire Qilin in the past, he would definitely not agree. As the saying goes, one's mouth is short, and one's hand is short. The fire Qilin thought for a while, and finally nodded. Leaving in the middle of the night. Longao didn't sleep for an entire night. Although he believed in the fire Qilin's strength, he didn't know the Bloodsea sect. Who knew if there was a powerhouse above the fire Qilin in the Bloodsea sect? The next day, when Linghu Ning and Ice Spirit appeared in front of him, Longao finally let out a sigh of relief. Until now, Linghu Ning and Ice Spirit were still sighing. Ice Spirit said in shock, "Brother Long, if I'm not mistaken, the injured Qilin of the Scarlet Volcano is already in the Long family." Since the matter had already reached this point, Longao did not conceal it in the slightest and told the matter in full detail. After listening, Linghu Ning and Ice Soul sighed even more. They didn't continue asking because they knew that this was no small matter. Between friends, what should be asked and what shouldn't be asked, the two knew clearly. "Brother Linghu, Ice Spirit, this time I've implicated you. Since we're friends, there's no need to say any more. Brother Long, although we were saved by the Qilin this time, the Bloodsea sect obviously wants to deal with you. So, Brother Long, you must be careful." Longao nodded. How could he not know about Ice Spirit and Linghu Ning's worries? No matter what, seeing that the two of them were fine, he was relieved. After temporarily settling the two of them, Longao immediately entered the alchemy room and began refining pills. Before entering the flame forest, he had killed many powerful spirit beasts. Among them, there were no less than 30 spirit beasts that had undergone metamorphosis. The pills refined from the beast cores of these spirit beasts were of great help to a cultivator's strength breakthrough. This time, Longao was prepared to raise the strength of the whole family. Taking a step back, even if something happened to him one day, the family wouldn't be destroyed with him. With the power of pills and spirit balls, Longao believed that he could break through the family's strength in the shortest time possible. Outside the Scarlet Volcano, 9 Hell Underground Spider Li Xin and Long Yili stared at the Scarlet Volcano in front of them. Long Yili's face was full of resentment as he said, "Master, this is the Scarlet Volcano, Longao's family. If nothing unexpected happens, as long as we control the Scarlet Volcano, Longao will definitely return." Chapter 215. Borrowing someone else's knife to kill. Long Yili knew himself well. With his current strength, it was almost impossible to kill Longao. Li Xin was not a fool. Of course, he knew that Longao was borrowing someone else's knife to kill, but he really wanted to kill Longao. Chihua Town. Li Xin had full confidence that with his strength, he could control the whole Chihua Town. Long Yili. Looking at the two people who suddenly appeared in front of him, Longao was shocked to the extreme. He really couldn't believe that Long Yili, who had already died, would appear outside Chihua Town. "You can recognize me. Your appearance can be changed, but your aura can never be changed." Longao's heart was very solemn because he could clearly sense that the strength of the big man beside Long Yili was no small matter. At the very least, he should be an earthly sovereign martial artist, or even a Dao ancestor martial artist. "Boy, do you still recognize me?" Hearing the words of the big man, Longao carefully sensed. After sensing, his face changed and he asked seriously, "You are the 9 Netherworld Underground Spider?" "Ha ha ha, very good, I didn't expect you to recognize me." Looking at the two people who were laughing crazily, Longao was really shocked because at that time in the cave, Long Yili was devoured and the 9 Netherworld Underground Spider self-exploded. Since that was the case, how could these two people appear in front of him? "Longao, I'll give you a chance. Kill yourself here, and I can let Chihua Town go." Without waiting for Long Yili to finish speaking, Li Xin directly gave him a slap in the face. This slap was extremely loud and clear, and directly stunned Long Yili. He didn't know what was going on. Li Xin coldly snorted and said contemptuously, "Who do you think you are? You dare to kick me? Get lost." "Yes, master." Long Yili was extremely angry, but he still retreated to the side with fear and trepidation. "Boy, today, not only will you die, everyone in Chihua Town will die. But I can give you a chance. Kneel down and admit your mistake, and I can let you die quickly. The Netherworld Earth Spider was at the peak of the Dao Ancestor realm. Longao wasn't too worried because he had the Fire Chelene in his family. The 9 Abyss Underground Spider was nothing to him. However, he wasn't willing to use the Fire Chelene's power unless he had no other choice. You're not willing? Willing my ass. Longao didn't give the Netherworld Underground Spider and Long Yili any chance at all. He took a big stride forward and rushed out. However, the Netherworld Underground Spider was still at the peak of the Dao Ancestor realm. Its strength was obvious. In the blink of an eye, the two of them were already engaged in battle. In just 3 moves, Longao was forced to retreat. The 9 Abyss Underground Spider had not attacked with its full strength. Otherwise, Longao would not have been able to withstand even 1 move. This was the gap between the Human King realm and the Peak Dao Ancestor realm. He did not dare to be careless in the slightest. Longao naturally knew very well that the reason the 9 Abyss Underground Spider did not attack with its full strength was none other than to humiliate him. The strange power of the God-sealing pearl and the God-punishing mirror shrouded the surroundings. Not only did they lock the Netherworld Underground Spider's body, but they also reversed the flow of time. As time reversed, the Netherworld Underground Spider's speed slowed down. Longao's speed was relatively faster. Holding the blood-sucking saber in his hand, he directly slashed at the Netherworld Underground Spider. The shocking saber light cut through the space and struck down like lightning. The Dao Ancestor realm. One had to admit that the Netherworld Underground Spider was very powerful. In just a second, it had recovered the flow of time and locked on with its fists. The saber light and the fist light collided and sparks flew. The Netherworld Underground Spider did not move, but Longao's body was sent flying. Shocked, Longao stopped abruptly. Although he knew that the strength of a Dao Ancestor realm martial artist was very strong, he still did not expect the Netherworld Underground Spider's strength to be so strong. In fact, it made sense when he thought about it. Back then, the Scarlet Sky 3 ancestors joined forces and failed to kill the Netherworld Underground Spider. In the end, they had to use the God-sealing pearl to seal the Netherworld Underground Spider. In the end, they even paid with their lives. One could imagine how strong the Netherworld Underground Spider was. Although he knew that his strength was not as good as the other party, Longao still did not choose to give up. Longao was such a person. The more he fought, the braver he became. Otherwise, he would not have gone to the Ghost King sect alone and almost lost his life for the sake of a woman. Ha ha ha, boy, I'd like to see how you can escape from my hands today. The Netherworld Underground Spider was very confident. The other party was only in the Human King realm. He was not even an ant in his eyes. Even if a Dao Ancestor realm martial artist came, he would not be afraid. Longao's body moved again. The God-sealing pearl and the God-punishing mirror came out at the same time and enveloped the Netherworld Underground Spider again. With the previous lesson, the Netherworld Underground Spider had obviously learned. Without waiting for his body to be locked on, he had already jumped out and slashed with his palms. Time moved forward. The God-punishing mirror was powerful. Not only could it change the flow of time of the opponent, but it could also change the flow of time of its own. Time moved forward by 3 seconds. Longao's speed instantly increased. The Netherworld Underground Spider's eyes turned cold. However, he was not angry at all. Instead, his face was full of playfulness. At this moment, Longao ran in the opposite direction. He did not continue to fight with the Netherworld Underground Spider. Instead, he shot towards Long Yili. If you cut the grass without removing the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. However, the Netherworld Underground Spider would not give Longao the slightest chance. He arrived in front of Longao at the fastest speed, waiting for Long Yili to walk into his trap. Forcibly changing his direction, Longao had still underestimated the Netherworld Underground Spider's strength and speed. It seemed that if he continued to fight, other than being killed by the Netherworld Underground Spider, he would not be able to change anything. Longao knew that once he left, the Netherworld Underground Spider would enter Scarlet Fire Town and slaughter everyone there. The Fire Chileen had already said that he would not care about the life and death of Scarlet Fire Town. So, as long as the Netherworld Underground Spider did not attack the Long family, the Fire Chileen would not attack. Because of this, Longao was unwilling to withdraw from the battle unless he had no other choice. "I'll let you have a taste of my spider web." After saying that, the Netherworld Underground Spider spat out a blood-red spider web. A moment later, a giant spider web appeared. Longao naturally did not dare to fight it head-on. If he got entangled, the consequences would be unimaginable. It had to be said that the Netherworld Underground Spider was very strong. Once Longao was trapped in its spiderweb, the chances of him breaking free would be very small. Just as Longao was preparing to leave, the roar of a dragon and the roar of a tiger resounded at the same time. Under the shocked gazes of the Netherworld Underground Spider and Long Yili, a giant dragon and a black tiger appeared at the same time. The roars of the dragon and tiger resounded through the world. Chapter 216. Dragon and Tiger Roars. A dragon roar and a tiger roar resounded. Long Qiong and Long Ming appeared, not giving the Nine Abyss Deep Ground Spider any chance to react. The dragon and tiger had already attacked. Both Long Qiong and Long Ming were in the Human King realm. However, when the dragon and tiger joined forces, their power doubled. Long Qiong also did not expect that the two little guys would suddenly attack. He did not dare to be careless. What if something happened to the two little guys? No matter what, the Nine Serene Underground Spider was at the peak of the Dao Ancestor realm. Even if the two little guys joined forces, they would definitely not be a match for the Nine Serene Underground Spider. Before Long Qiong could stop them, Long Qiong and Long Ming had already begun to attack the Nine Serene Underground Spider. Wave after wave, the dragon and tiger intertwined. The two different forces overlapped, causing the Nine Serene Underground Spider to be restrained and forced to retreat step by step. The Nine Serene Underground Spider and the Nine Serene Underground Tiger were actually of the same race. However, their auras were completely different. It could be said that the Nine Serene Underground Tiger was the king of the Nine Serene Underground Spiritual Beasts, while the Nine Serene Underground Spider was just an ordinary member. The innate aura and majesty of the king suppressed the Nine Serene Underground Spider and made up for the gap between their realms. If it were other Dao Ancestor realm spiritual beasts, even if the dragon and tiger joined forces, they would not be able to withstand 3 moves. However, the situation was completely different now. As mentioned earlier, the Nine Serene Underground Spider had already lost to the Nine Serene Underground Tiger in terms of aura suppression. Aura suppression, and it was a strong suppression. Long Qiong was delighted. Long Qiong did not stand aside and watch the show. He joined the battle immediately. The man, the dragon, and the tiger joined forces and attacked the Nine Serene Underground Spider continuously. "Boy, I will definitely settle this score with you. We will meet again." The Nine Serene Underground Spider did not continue to fight. Although its strength was there, its aura was suppressed. Even if it continued to fight, it would be at a disadvantage in the end. Looking at the Nine Serene Underground Spider and Long Yili who were fleeing in panic, Long Qiong was not happy at all. Instead, his face became more solemn. Until now, Longao still couldn't figure out why Long Yili and the Nine Hell Underground Spider would be reborn. According to the strength of the Nine Abyss Underground Spider, it would always be a danger. Who knew when the two of them would come back? No matter what, he would soon leave the Scarlet Fire Town to participate in the so-called Battle of the Nine Regions. What should I do? Long Qiong and Long Ming chased away the Nine Abyss Underground Spider and returned to the Dragon Seal space to cultivate. Long Ao did not stay any longer and returned to the Scarlet Fire Town's Long family. Long family, small courtyard. Ever since the battle with the Nine Serene Earthly Spider, Long Ao had never left his residence. In his mind, he was constantly thinking about how to resolve this matter. This was because he clearly knew that as long as he did not deal with the Nine Serene Earthly Spider, his family would always be in trouble once he left. Even if the clan had the Fire Chileen, no one could guarantee that once the clan's disciples left the clan, would the Fire Chileen still care about the life and death of the clan's disciples? Although the Fire Chaline's attitude had a great change and helped him save Linghu Ning and Ice Soul, Longao still knew that the Fire Chaline could not always protect every disciple of the clan. Because of this, Longao knew very well that this matter was very troublesome. What should I do? Ao, what's wrong? Seeing his grandfather coming in, Longao smiled helplessly. Originally, he did not want to tell his grandfather about this matter, but things had already come to this point. In addition, the Battle of the 9 Regions was imminent. He had to think of a way to deal with the 9 Abyss underground spider as soon as possible. In the entire Long family, there were only 3 people who dared to casually enter the small courtyard. They were Long Haosha, Long Yi, and Mu Lin. Without hiding anything, Long Ao roughly explained the matter of the 9 Abyss underground spider and Long Yili. After listening, Long Haosha became very solemn. Now, Long Haosha already knew what the Dao ancestor realm represented. It was indeed a very frightening thing to be constantly remembered by a Dao ancestor realm spiritual beast. Ao, are you going to participate in the Battle of the 9 Regions? That's right. The people on the 9 Regions ranking list will all participate in the Battle of the 9 Regions. As the third on the Tianju ranking list, if I don't participate, Long Ao did not continue speaking, but the meaning and determination in his words were very clear. Of course, Long Haosha knew his grandson's character. Therefore, he did not try to persuade him. Instead, he said, Ao, according to what you just said, the 9 Abyss underground spider will definitely not let this matter go. It might be watching us from the surroundings of the Scarlet Fire town at all times. Long Ao did not say anything because he knew that his grandfather had experienced more things than him. Perhaps his grandfather had a way to deal with the 9 Abyss underground spider. Long Haosha thought for a while and said, Ao, why don't we catch a turtle in a jar? Grandfather, what do you mean by catching a turtle in a jar? Long Haosha smiled and continued, it's very simple. I heard from you that Senior Chaline was seriously injured. It won't be easy for him to recover. Grandfather, you want to borrow Big Brother Chaline's power to eliminate the 9 Abyss underground spider? Long Haosha nodded and said, that's right. As long as we can lure the 9 Abyss underground spider into the clan, we won't have to do anything. Senior Chaline will deal with him. This is the so-called catching a turtle in a jar. Long Ao already understood his grandfather's plan. According to the agreement between him and Fire Chaline, as long as a strong enemy entered the clan, Fire Chaline would protect the clan. Because of this, his grandfather's plan was to lure the 9 Abyss underground spider into the clan. At that time, according to the agreement, Fire Chaline would personally eliminate the 9 Abyss underground spider. The grandfather and grandson looked at each other and saw a trace of craftiness in each other's eyes. Then, Long Ao and Long Haosha began to discuss how to lure the 9 Abyss underground spider into the clan. In a cave not far from the Scarlet Fire town, the 9 Abyss underground spider's face was extremely gloomy as he smashed his fist on the wall. The fury in his heart was like a volcano that was about to erupt, ready to erupt at any time. Master! Slap! Long Yili, who had just entered the cave, was directly slapped by the 9 Abyss underground spider. As if it was a common occurrence, Long Yili trembled with fear and looked at the 9 Abyss underground spider with a fawning expression. Speak. Master, I just entered the Scarlet Fire town and asked around. In order to participate in the Battle of the 9 Provinces, Long Ao has already left the Scarlet Fire town. Therefore, now is the best time for us. If we enter the Scarlet Fire town now and control the Long family, Long Ao will obediently submit. Humph, Long Ao, you forced me to do this. I want to see if you will kneel down and beg me when your family is in my hands. The 9 Abyss underground tiger can help me break through to the nothingness realm. Chapter 217. The 9 Abyss underground spider was not afraid of Long Ao, but he was afraid of the 9 Abyss underground tiger. Although they were from the same clan, the difference in their levels had caused the 9 Abyss underground tiger's aura to be suppressed. Therefore, the battle could not be carried out. Long Ao's departure had given the 9 Abyss underground spider a rare opportunity. According to the 9 Abyss underground spider's thoughts, As long as he controlled the Scarlet Fire Town's Long family, Longao would have to beg him like a dog. The 9-abyss underground spider was full of confidence. With his strength, he could wipe out the Scarlet Fire Town, including the Long family. Scarlet Fire Town, Long family. The 9-abyss underground spider was emitting a terrifying aura, but what puzzled the two was that there was no one screaming in the Long family. What was going on? Go, let me see what happened. Long Yili cursed in his heart. Even if he didn't want to enter, Long Yili still walked towards the Long family. The gate was not closed. Long Yili entered and found the entire house empty. Under normal circumstances, as the local tyrant of the Scarlet Fire Town, the Long family should have a lot of servants. But now, Long Yili, how have you been? Looking at the black-clothed, white-haired youth who suddenly appeared in front of him, Long Yili's face turned gloomy. He seemed to have guessed something and asked, "Did you arrange this on purpose?" Outside the Long family, Long Yili had been in there for an hour, but he still had not come out. The 9-abyss underground spider also felt that things were a little tricky. However, since things had come to this point, the 9-abyss underground spider did not retreat. Instead, he walked towards the gate of the Long family. As soon as he stepped in, the 9-abyss underground spider seemed to feel that something was wrong. He had a bad feeling in his heart, so he did not dare to stay any longer. He turned around and left quickly. But at this time, a terrifying energy had already shrouded him. No. The 9-abyss underground spider had just let out a scream when his body disappeared. Before Longao could seize his soul, he was destroyed by the fire Chileen. After exterminating Long Yili and the 9 Netherworld underground spider, Longao heaved a sigh of relief. No matter what, the 9 Netherworld underground spider was still a threat. If it harmed the clan, he would feel guilty for the rest of his life. Big brother Chileen, I will be leaving the family for a while. I hope you can help me take care of the family. Alright, you don't have to pretend to be obedient here. Longao chuckled and did not say any more nonsense. He quietly withdrew. This time, the fire Chileen's contribution was the greatest in being able to kill the 9 Netherworld underground spider and completely eliminate any future troubles for the clan. The Battle of the 9 States was about to begin. There was no need for Longao to do anything. He had already received invitations from the 6 major sects. Longao knew very well that in front of the 9 States Battle of the 9 States, all grudges had to be put aside because the Battle of the 9 States represented the honor and dignity of the Tianju. Through his understanding of the 9 States ranking, Longao knew that in the 9 States ranking that was held every 10 years, the Sky State would always be at the bottom. This was not to say that Dugu Bai, Miao Cheng, and the others were not strong enough, but because the Sky State ranking was not strong enough, it caused the Sky State to lose every time. Longao could understand the helplessness of the 6 major sects. After all, the 9 states ranking was related to the strength and dignity of each state. Losing once or twice could be forgiven, but losing every time was a bit of a pain in the ass. It was because of this that the 6 major sects viewed the 9 states ranking with great importance. No matter what grudges the 6 major sects had, they would temporarily put aside their grudges before the 9 states ranking. There were less than 25 days until the Battle of the 9 States began. Longao planned to leave the family in 5 days. In other words, he still had 20 days to stay in the family. In the remaining days, Longao focused on refining elixirs to help his family break through. In the courtyard, looking at the 2 little guys playing, Longao found it hard to imagine that the combined power of Long Qiong and Long Ming would be so strong. Although Long Ming's aura had a huge advantage, he had to admit that the combined power of Long Qiong and Long Ming was indeed very strong. At this moment, Long Qiong and Long Ming were only half the height of a human, just like 2 little kids. Longao looked at the 2 little guys dotingly, just like a father looking at his sons. According to Long Fu, the power of a sovereign golden core was too strong. Who knew how long it would take for the 9 Netherworld tiger to absorb it? It was because of this that Long Fu and Longao decided to refine the sovereign golden core. The 3 of them would absorb it at the same time. In the dragon seal space, Long Fu called out to him. Longao was very curious and asked, "Long Fu, why are you calling me?" Master, I'm going to teach the two little guys a martial technique. It can be said that it's a combination of martial techniques. I believe you've seen it. Once the two little guys join forces, the power can be increased by 3 times. Once it's combined with martial techniques, the power can be further increased. Longao was overjoyed. Of course, he knew what Long Fu meant. Without any hesitation, he nodded and agreed. Master, your cultivation has reached a bottleneck. It's no longer useful to rely on cultivation alone. If you want to break through to the earthly sovereign realm, you have to devour a lot of power. The same goes for Long Chong. Longao nodded. He was very depressed about his own sacred desolation body. Not only him, but even Long Chong also had the sacred desolation body. The power required for 2 sacred desolation bodies added together was a terrifying number. However, Longao knew very well that as the number 1 sacred body of the ancient times, the sacred desolation body's power lay in that as long as they devoured enough power, there would be no bottleneck for him and Long Chong. In other words, if the owner of the sacred desolation body was at the peak of the human king realm, as long as they devoured enough power, they would be able to break through to the earthly sovereign realm. For warriors, this was nothing more than their favorite thing. Longao also knew very well that if he didn't have the help of the Dragon Seal Space and Long Fu, he wouldn't have been able to reach the human king realm. Perhaps he would still be a trash in the Scarlet Fire Town. Every day, other than cultivating, he would be ridiculed. Longao loved and hated his own sacred desolation body. But overall, his love was greater than his hatred. Master, in the following time, you will need to seize a lot of souls. I will refine them. I can't let your realm stagnate for too long. Longao nodded. Of course, he understood Long Fu's meaning. The soul power was refined by the blood pool. He could devour as much as he wanted without any backlash. He could even refine souls and nourish his soul to become stronger. Longao had always been curious about the Dragon Seal Space and the soul-refining blood pool. He didn't know what the Dragon Seal Space was. Chapter 218. In the Courtyard. Apart from refining pills every day, Longao spent all his time cultivating. He strived to increase his strength before the Battle of the 9 States. 7th brother, Grandpa has something urgent to talk to you about. Longan, why is Grandpa looking for me? Looking at his 7th brother, Longan was a little afraid. After all, he knew very well that his 7th brother was no longer the same as before. He was no longer the trash that could be bullied by him. Longan, why is Grandpa looking for me? Looking at the dazed Longan, Longao was very depressed. He didn't know why this brat was in a daze at this time. Startled, Longan hurriedly said, I don't know. Anyway, Grandpa was very anxious when he saw Grandpa. Also, the people from Thundercloud City's Mu clan are here. Longao was a little puzzled. He didn't know what had happened to the clan. Without any hesitation, he immediately got up and went to the main hall. Long Clan's main hall. Long Haosha and Mu Wanfeng sat at the head of the table. Their faces were a little solemn, but they were also a little excited. Seeing Longao come in, the two stood up. They seemed to want to speak at the same time. But when they saw each other, they smiled and sat down at the same time. Seeing his grandfather and grandmother like this, Longao, who had just stepped into the main hall, became even more curious. What was it that made the two elders so excited and worried? Grandpa, Grandma, you were looking for me? Nodding, Long Haosha seemed to be a little impatient. He said, the matter is very urgent. Not long ago, your grandmother accidentally found a mountain range. After observing it, she found that the mountain range was filled with a very powerful spiritual energy. Spiritual vein? Yes, it's a spiritual vein. Of course, Longao wouldn't doubt his grandfather's words. Spiritual vein. Hearing that his grandmother found a spiritual vein, Longao's heart fiercely thumped. He knew very well what a spiritual vein meant. The heaven and earth spiritual vein was a spiritual vein that was naturally nurtured by the heaven and earth. It was said that as long as one could obtain a small piece, the heaven and earth spiritual chi in a small space would speed up and become stronger. Longao could not imagine what a spiritual vein meant. Grandma, where is the spirit vein? Longao was also somewhat impatient. After all, as long as the clan had the spirit vein, it wouldn't be long before the clan's overall strength would experience a qualitative leap. It's a mountain range not far from Thundercloud City. It's not very big, not even half the size of Scarlet Volcano. Grandma, other than you, does anyone else know about the spirit vein? Only your two uncles are guarding the spirit vein. Just in case, I'll leave this matter to you. Mu Wanfeng was not a fool. Of course, she knew what the spirit vein represented. If others knew about it, especially the 6 major sects and the 2 empires, the Mu family alone would not be able to keep the spirit vein. It might even bring disaster to the Mu family. Mu Wanfeng was very confident in her grandson. That was why she had come to Red Fire Town to hand over the spiritual vein to the Long family. Mu Wanfeng was indeed the head of the Mu family. She was not too greedy. Otherwise, the slightest delay in this matter would have led to her eternal damnation. If the spirit vein was discovered by other clans or sects, they would definitely take it for themselves. Longao did not hesitate. He did not tell anyone about this matter. Only himself, his grandfather, father, several uncles, grandma, and his 2 uncles knew about it. This matter had to be kept a secret, so only Longao set off. As for the others, they all stayed behind to wait for news. The nameless mountain range was a deserted mountain range. Usually, no one cared about it at all. There was no one within a 10-mile radius. Longao's 2 uncles, Mu Che and Mu Tian, accidentally came here and discovered the spirit vein. According to their original intention, the spirit vein should be owned by the clan alone. But Mu Wanfeng was adamant about it. In the end, they had no choice but to compromise. Longao, who had just arrived, saw his 2 uncles from afar. After all, Longao did not have much affection for them. If it were not for the sudden rise of Longao, Mu Che and Mu Tian would not even look at Longao. This was the reality. Even their closest relatives were no exception. With regards to this point, Longao was also clear about it. However, for the sake of his mother, he would do everything well and not make things difficult for his mother in the slightest. Uncle, is this where the spirit vein is? No matter how unhappy they were, Mu Che and Mu Tian didn't dare to say anything to their nephew. After all, the current Longao was no longer the same as before. If it wasn't for his sister, they believed that with the current state of the Long family, they wouldn't even look at the Mu family. It was still the same sentence, this was reality. Nodding, Mu Tian said, "This is where the spirit vein is. Big brother and I have been observing these days. We found that although the spiritual chi of heaven and earth here is abundant, we can't find the source. The source of the spirit vein, as the name implied, was the most central area of the spirit vein. Longao knew that such a spiritual vein must have a source. As long as he could find the source, he would have a way to take the spiritual vein away. Otherwise, if he couldn't take the spiritual vein away, it would be known by others sooner or later. Uncles, I'll go take a look first. Wait for me here. Okay, be careful. Got it. Longao did not hesitate and walked towards the mountain in front of him. At the beginning, he did not feel anything at all. Just as he stepped into the mountain, Longao felt that something was wrong. Because from here on, the spiritual chi of heaven and earth became more and more abundant. Where is the entrance to the spirit vein? Longao did not search blindly. Instead, he communicated with the dragon seal with his soul and entered the space of the dragon seal. Longao went straight to the point and said, "Long Fu, I'm now on a spirit vein. Do you have any way to help me find the source of the spirit vein?" Spirit vein? Long Fu seemed to be a little surprised. After all, he was very clear about what a spirit vein meant. He nodded and said, "I can help Master sense it." Overjoyed, Longao said eagerly, "Long Fu, start sensing it now." Long Fu did not hesitate and immediately released the power of the dragon seal space. His aura spread out in all directions. After a while, Long Fu finished sensing and said, "Master, I've sensed it. Let me guide you." Longao was very surprised. He did not expect that Long Fu could sense the entrance of the spirit vein so quickly. No matter what, now that he finally knew the source of the spirit vein, it was not impossible to obtain the spirit vein. Until now, Longao was a little puzzled. Why did no one discover such a huge spirit vein before? He did not believe that a cultivator would feel anything different when they stepped into this mountain. Chapter 219. Inside the Spiritual Vein. Following Long Fu's aura, Longao had unknowingly entered the interior of the spiritual vein. Looking at the natural passage around him, Longao was very surprised. A spiritual vein is indeed a spiritual vein. The spiritual energy here is 10 times more than the outside world. What kind of concept is this? In other words, for a cultivator with the same talent and strength, if one cultivates in the outside world and the other cultivates in the spiritual vein, the difference in cultivation speed will be 10 times. After walking for an unknown amount of time, Longao finally arrived at a huge cave. Before Longao could react, he already saw a huge spiritual stone on the ground in front of him. It was milky white and emitted powerful spiritual energy like the sun. His heart was pleasantly surprised. Longao couldn't wait to take away this spiritual stone immediately. "Master, your luck is really good. This spiritual stone was just born not long ago. Otherwise, I believe it would have been taken away." Nodding his head, before Longao could speak, Long Fu said, "Master, the dragon seal was heavily injured back then. It won't be easy for it to recover. Therefore, the dragon seal space needs this spiritual stone." Longao was very surprised. It wasn't that he couldn't bear to part with this spiritual stone. After all, he had already become the master of the dragon seal space. The stronger the dragon seal, the more advantageous it would be for him. Longao only considered one thing, and that was that once this spiritual stone was placed in the family, he believed that his clansmen would be able to quickly increase their strength. On one side was the dragon seal space, and on the other side was the family. For a moment, Longao didn't know how to choose. "Master, I know your difficulties. Actually, you can divide this spiritual stone into 2 parts. One for the family and one for the dragon seal space." "Good idea." Longao didn't hesitate at all. He immediately took out his blood-sucking blade and slashed at the spiritual stone. It wasn't damaged at all. Looking at the spiritual stone that wasn't damaged in the slightest, Longao was completely stunned. "Master, let me do it." He didn't know how Long Fu did it, but the incomparably hard spirit stones had already been automatically divided according to a ratio of 9-1. The large ones were sent into the dragon seal space, while the small ones were left for the family. However, in the end, Longao still asked Long Fu to cut a small piece of spirit stone from the big one and prepared to give it to the Mu clan. No matter what, this spirit vein was discovered by the Mu clan. If they did not express their gratitude, it would seem very unkind. After successfully retrieving the spirit vein and stepping out of the mountain range, Longao discovered that the entire mountain range had already lost its heaven and earthling chi. In other words, the reason why the mountain range had such a strong heaven and earthling chi was mainly because of the spirit stones that he had just obtained. "Aoa, how is it?" Both Mu Che and Mu Tian were very anxious. After all, they knew very well what the spirit vein represented. If their families could obtain the spirit vein, they would also have a chance to make a comeback. With a smile, Longao took out a brick-sized spirit stone from his bosom and handed it to the 2 men. He said, "Uncle, this is a spirit stone. Remember, use it carefully when you go back. Otherwise, if outsiders find out, the consequences will be unimaginable." Longao did not continue to stay. He turned and quickly left. Looking at the spirit stone in their hands, the 2 of them did not have the slightest bit of happiness or excitement. Instead, their expressions were very ugly. Mu Tian said angrily, "Such a big spirit vein and you gave us such a small spirit stone. Do you think we are beggars? Second brother, forget it. The Long clan today is not the same as before. If we anger the Long clan, our Mu clan will not have good days ahead." His angry face was filled with unwillingness, but Mu Tian endured it in the end. This was because he knew that Longao had already become a hidden dragon and was no longer the trash from before. He was a genius whose name shook the Tianju. If they offended Longao, not to mention what would happen to the Long clan, just the sound of Thunder Sect and the Thunder Imperial family would not forgive their Mu clan. After returning to the Long clan, Longao told his grandfather and grandmother about the spirit vein. As for the others, everything was kept a secret. According to Longao, the matter of the spirit vein could not be leaked out. Therefore, he had to find a place to place his spiritual sense so that others could not sense it. Grandmother, the matter of the spirit vein is no small matter. I have already given the spirit stone to uncle. When you go back later, you can open up a secret room to block the spirit chi. This way, the matter of the spirit vein will not be leaked out. Mu Wanfeng nodded. Of course, she knew how serious this matter was. She said, I know what to do. After sending off his grandmother, Longao went to find Longhaosha. He said straightforwardly, Grandfather, this spirit stone in my hand needs to be placed somewhere. What do you think we should do? Although Longao was already a human king, in front of his grandfather, he would always be an obedient child. It was because of this that Longao would always ask for his grandfather's opinion before doing anything in the Mu clan. After thinking about it, Longhaosha said, there is only one way to prevent outsiders from knowing about the spirit vein. That is to open up a new forbidden area in the Long clan's backyard and block the spirit chi from leaking out. This way, this matter will not spread. Let's do as grandfather says. Thundercloud City. Mu Tian did not return to the clan. Instead, he found a luxurious restaurant and ordered a table full of dishes. He also ordered 3 jars of strong alcohol to drink alone. As the saying went, drinking to drown one's sorrows would only make one more sorrowful. After drinking a jar of strong alcohol, Mu Tian fainted. His speech became incoherent. His words were filled with unwillingness and complaints. In Mu Tian's opinion, the spirit vein was discovered by the Mu clan. Even if they could not take it all for themselves, they should at least get half of it. But now, that bastard Longao only gave the Mu clan such a small piece. He was simply going too far. You are Longao's uncle, Mu Tian? Seeing the middle-aged man suddenly appear beside him, Mu Tian snorted coldly and asked, So what if I am? Nothing. I just heard you complaining about Longao. I also want to hear about Longao. Usually, Mu Tian would not be stupid enough to talk nonsense. But today, Mu Tian was obviously a little abnormal. Plus, he was drunk, so he directly exploded. Longao, that bastard, thinks he can look down on everyone just because he has some strength. If it was not for our Mu clan, how could he get the spirit vein? Humph, ungrateful thing. You only gave us a small piece of spiritual stone. Damn you. Do you think we are looking forward to it? Spirit vein. Hearing this, Heimo's face suddenly changed. Then, he revealed a greedy look. He knew very well what the spirit vein meant. If he could get the spirit vein, wouldn't he be like a tiger with wings? As the first on the 100 battle ranking list, Heimo was not convinced when he heard about Longao's deeds. He also felt a little lucky, because as everyone knew, Longao was now ranked 3rd on the list. If he could defeat Longao, he would naturally replace him and become the 3rd on the list. Chapter 220. In a luxurious restaurant. Mu Tian was already dead drunk. He didn't know what he had just said at all. Although Black Demon already knew about the news of the spiritual vein, he didn't go to the Long family alone. As the saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. If Longao's strength was really that strong, then wouldn't he be walking into a trap? Because of this, the Heimo spread the news that the Long family had obtained the spiritual vein. In just half a day, all the forces in Tianju, the 6 major sects, and the 2 empires knew that the Long family had obtained the spiritual vein. If it was a normal rumor, no one would believe it. However, Longao's fame was too dazzling recently, causing everyone to be jealous. Plus, there was no smoke without fire. The 6 major sects and the 2 empires all sent people to Chihua town to investigate. Although the Sound of Thunder sect and the Thunder royal family had always supported Longao, the temptation of the spiritual vein was too great. If they could get the spiritual vein, it would bring unimaginable benefits to the development of the sect. Chihua town, Long family's main hall. Everyone's face was gloomy. Long Haosha scolded, Mu Tian, that bastard. He actually leaked the news of the spiritual vein. Now, everyone in Tianju is eyeing us. If they try to snatch it, how are we going to deal with it? Mu Tian had revealed the matter of the spirit vein. Everyone hated him to the extreme. If Mu Tian wasn't Mu Lin's second brother, they believed that someone would have already killed him. Grandfather, calm down. Aoa, what should we do now? Even if Long Haosha was an experienced strategist, he was at his wits' end when faced with such a situation. Long Haosha knew that this was a serious matter. After all, the Long family was just a drop in the ocean for the entire Tianju. If it was not for Aoa's strong rise, would the Long family be where it was today? Long Haosha knew what the spiritual vein meant. Now that the news of the family having the spiritual vein had been leaked, the 6 major sects, the 2 empires, and countless kingdoms would be tempted. What should they do? Long Ao didn't know what to do, but in order not to let his grandfather worry, he said, different situations call for different measures. Grandfather, you don't have to worry. With big brother Chelin overseeing the family, it's more than enough to ensure the safety of the family. Aoa, I'm not worried about the safety of the family. I'm just worried that the news of the spirit vein has been leaked. Now that Tianju is eyeing us covetously, I believe that there will be more trouble in the future. What if Senior Chelin can't handle it? How could Long Ao not have thought of what his grandfather had said? The Tianwu continent was divided into 9 prefectures. The Tianju was only one of the continents in the Sky Martial continent. As for the 6 great sects, they might be able to dominate the Tianju continent, but what about the entire continent? There was no doubt that the 6 great sects were nothing in the eyes of the entire continent. Long family members were enough to easily wipe out the 6 great sects. If the news of the clan obtaining the spirit vein were to spread to the ears of these superpowers, they would come looking for trouble. If the Fire Chelin couldn't stop them, they would be in big trouble. Aoa, our Long clan cannot admit to this matter. If necessary, we will sacrifice the Mu clan. Sacrifice the Mu clan? Long Ao wasn't unwilling to part with the Mu clan, but because of his mother. No matter what, the Mu clan was still the Mu clan's maternal family. If they were destroyed, his mother would definitely be sad. As if he could see the worry in Long Ao's heart, Long Haosha said, Aoa, the Mu clan brought this upon themselves. They can't blame others. If you are soft-hearted, the one that will be destroyed won't be the Mu clan, but our Long clan. Standing up, Long Ao didn't want to care about this matter. He said, Grandfather, I'll leave it to you. After saying that, Long Ao stood up and left. At dusk, Thundercloud City welcomed the most powerful and prosperous guests in history. Other than the countless kingdoms and 2 empires, the young masters and elders of the 6 great sects were all present. They were here for the spirit stones in the hands of the Mu family and the matter regarding the spirit vein. Mu clan's main hall. A slap landed on Mu Tian's face. Mu Wanfeng cursed bitterly, You bastard, Aoa gave us a spiritual stone out of the goodness of his heart so that our Mu clan could rise. But you leaked this information. Now, the 6 great sects and 2 great empires are all here. I want to ask you, what should we do? At this moment, Mu Tian, who was kneeling on the ground, was scared out of his wits. He never thought that he would bring so much trouble to the Mu clan because of a moment of unwillingness. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have dared to be angry and would have been obedient. Mother, I'll go to Scarlet Fire Town to find Long Ao. With his help, I believe this matter will be resolved. Mu Wanfeng smiled helplessly. She seemed to have no strength to continue cursing. She said, You know better than me what the spirit vein means. The 6 great sects might give Ao a face, but for the spirit vein, I can tell you clearly that not only us, but even the Long clan will be in trouble. Mu Tian's body trembled. He never thought that things would get out of hand. Mother, what should we do now? What should we do? You caused this trouble, so you have to solve it yourself. Mother, I won't do it again. Mu Tian was really scared. He kept kowtowing because he knew that once the 6 great sects and the 2 great empires attacked the Mu clan wouldn't even have a chance to fight back. They would be trampled. Long family, Longao. Right now, there was only one person he could count on, and that was Longao. Mu Tian still remembered how Longao made a scene in the Ghost King sect. If Longao was willing to help, then everything would be possible. Mother, are you okay? Seeing his sister suddenly come in, Mu Tian hugged Mu Lin excitedly and begged, Xiao Lin, I beg you. Second brother, please let Aoa come quickly. I didn't mean to leak the spirit vein. I just couldn't control myself after drinking. I know I was wrong. Mu Wanfeng heaved a deep sigh as she looked at her crazed son. Second brother, Xiao Lin, don't tell me that Aoa doesn't want to come. With a deep sigh, Mu Lin said helplessly, Father-in-law has already said that you brought this upon yourself. You can't blame anyone else. If the Long family were to take action, in the end, not only the Mu family, but even the Long family would be annihilated. Therefore, the Long family and Aoa will not take action. Then how did you get here? I snuck out. They don't know. Hearing this, Mu Tian sat down on the ground. His face was full of despair. He said to himself, it's over. Chapter 221. Xiao Lin, take everyone and leave the Mu family. Mother. Waving her hand, Mu Wanfeng stopped Mu Lin from speaking. She said firmly, as the head of the Mu family, I must live and die with the family. But you are different. You are the future of the family. Nothing can happen to you. At this moment, Mu Wanfeng seemed to have aged 10 years, which made Mu Lin's heart ache. Xiao Lin, take them to the Long family. Tell Aoa that I only ask for one thing in my life. I hope that he can take you in. With that, Mu Wanfeng stood up and left the hall, heading out of Thundercloud City. Mother is right. I also want to live and die with the family. Xiao Lin, take the family disciples and leave. Let's go. Okay, second brother. With your words, even if I die today, it will be worth it. After this incident, Mu Che and Mu Tian had completely grown up. But some things would not give you the chance to change. Outside Thundercloud City, 6 major sects, Ghost King sect, Blood Sea sect, Wind Thunder sect, Golden Sun sect, Flame sect, Thunder sect, and 2 empires, Thunder Empire and Flame Empire. In the end, Thunder Empire and Thunder sect were one family, and Flame Empire and Flame sect were one family. This time, the master of the 6 major sects did not come. They only sent their young master or elders to represent them. Thunder sect, Xia Jun and Dugu Bai. Flame sect, Hua Ting. Golden Sun sect, Zhong Zhihang and an elder. Blood Sea sect, Guan Feng and Du Yunxian, 2 elders. Everyone looked at the old woman walking out of the city. Zhong Zhihang was the first to speak. Mu Wanfeng, seeing that you are a heroine, as long as you hand over the spiritual stones and tell me the location of the spiritual vein, I will spare your life. Idiot, you are even worse than tofu dregs. Pretentious, damn you. Zhong Zhihang was not a fool. Of course, he knew that Xia Jun was scolding him. Because of the previous incident, Thunder sect and Golden Sun sect were like fire and water. If not for the upcoming battle of the 9 states, Xia Jun and Dugu Bai would have been impulsive. Xia Jun, I don't want to talk nonsense with you. If you have the ability, let's have a fair fight after the battle of the 9 states. I want to see how you're going to be unhappy. Xia Jun was only a high-level Earth Sovereign, ranked 5th on the Fengyun list. On the other hand, Zhong Zhihang was a genuine peak Earth Sovereign, ranked 4th on the Fengyun list. If the two were to fight, Zhong Zhihang would have a high chance of winning. Zhong Zhihang, in the end, you're just a coward. If you have the ability, fight me now. I'll beat you until you cry for your parents. You are courting death. Just as Zhong Zhihang was about to attack in anger, he was pulled back by one of the elders. Young master, the matter of spirit stones and spirit veins is the most important. Nodding his head, Zhong Zhihong knew that he was being too impulsive. After all, Xia Jun and Dugu Bai were not here to deal with the Mu clan, but to help them. It was because of the Sound of Thunder sect that the other 5 sects and the other kingdoms did not act rashly. No one was willing to provoke the Sound of Thunder sect before they figured things out. Looking at the dogfight, Mu Wanfeng sneered and said, "I don't know anything about spirit veins. As for the spirit stones you just mentioned, it was indeed Aoa who found them, but he has given them all to me. If you want, I can give them to you." "Mother, what are you doing here?" Seeing that her son and daughter had not left, Mu Wanfeng's face instantly darkened. Now that the experts of the 6 sects and 2 kingdoms had gathered, once they attacked, they would not even have a chance to escape. "We will live and die with the Mu clan. If the clan lives, we live. If the clan dies, we die." Looking at her son and daughter, Mu Wanfeng smiled and nodded, saying, "I'm satisfied to have children like you." Seeing the Mu clan chattering, Zhong Zhihong was already impatient. He said directly, "Old thing, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the spirit stones and tell me about the spirit veins. Otherwise, no one in the Mu clan will be spared." Zhong Zhihong was very arrogant, but the Mu clan knew that he had the right to be arrogant. As the young master of the Golden Sun sect, as long as Zhong Zhihong was willing, not to mention the small Mu clan, he could even slaughter an entire kingdom easily. "I don't know about the spirit veins. Ha ha ha, the Mu clan is courting death. The Mu clan is courting death. Zhong Zhihong, I think you're the one who is courting death. Let me tell you, the Sound of Thunder sect can ignore the spirit veins, but if you want to deal with the Mu clan, you'll have to ask for my permission first. Xia Jun, you're obviously going against me. So what?" Xia Jun did not care about Zhong Zhihong at all. Among the 6 major sects, only the Blazing sect could go against the Sound of Thunder sect. The rest of the sects, including the Golden Sun sect, were not strong enough. Because of this, unless it was a last resort, Zhong Zhihong would not dare to start a war with the Sound of Thunder sect. After giving Xia Jun a fierce glare, Zhong Zhihong looked at the others and asked, "What do you guys mean?" Hua Teng was the first to speak. "Xia Jun, you're in the wrong here. As the saying goes, those who listen have a share. Since we're all gathered in the Thundercloud City, we must find out the whereabouts of the spirit veins. Again, the spirit veins will be divided into 6 portions. My Blazing sect will only take 1 portion. If the Mu clan is not willing to tell us the location of the spirit veins, we can use force." With the support of the Blazing sect, Zhong Zhihong instantly gained confidence. No matter what, the Blazing sect and the Sound of Thunder sect were equally famous. He believed that the Sound of Thunder sect would not start a war with the Blazing sect for a small Mu clan. Just as Zhong Zhihong thought, Dugu Bai and Xia Jun's faces turned ugly when they saw the Blazing sect supporting the Golden Sun sect. Actually, the 2 of them were very confused. Why hadn't Longao appeared in the Thundercloud City? "Xia Jun, no matter what your relationship with Longao is, we'll only do what we should do. We won't interfere with each other. Otherwise, we'll have to work together to deal with you." Once the Ghost King sect, Blood Sea sect, Wind Thunder sect, Golden Sun sect and the Blazing sect worked together, even the Sound of Thunder sect would not be able to stop them. Would they really start a war with the 5 great sects for the Mu clan? Seeing Xia Jun remain silent, Zhong Zhihong sneered in disdain. He turned around and said coldly, "Old woman, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the spirit stones and tell me the whereabouts of the spirit veins. If you're not willing, I'll slaughter the entire Mu clan. With just you." Hearing the voice, the entire Mu clan became agitated. When Zhong Zhihong saw the black-clothed, white-haired youth who had suddenly appeared, his face turned extremely gloomy. However, he was more excited because he was prepared to use this opportunity to eliminate Longao in one fell swoop. How could he let go of such a rare opportunity? Chapter 222. Grandma, Mom, are you okay? We're fine. Aoa, be careful. Mu Lin knew that her son had returned. The mother and daughter held hands tightly and looked at Aoa worriedly. No matter what, The other party was still the Golden Sun sect, the most powerful existence in Tianzhu. However, if Ao did not appear, the Mu family would definitely be annihilated today. Longao, you asked for it this time. You can't blame anyone else. Zhongjihang, do you want to bully me with numbers? Xie Jun saw Longao appear and was overjoyed. However, his voice was extremely cold. Xie Jun did not like Zhongjihang, so Zhongjihang could do nothing about it. However, things had already come to this point. If he chose to retreat, where would his face go? Where would the Golden Sun sect's face go? It was because of this that Zhongjihang suddenly said, Longao, I'm officially challenging you now. Do you dare to accept? Challenging me? Longao sneered in his heart. Without any hesitation, he replied, I accept the challenge. Zhongjihang, you won't be so lucky today. In a battle between warriors, everyone around retreated. Mu Lin said worriedly, Ao, be careful. Nodding, Longao and Zhongjihang faced each other and stared at each other. Longao, I was careless last time and let you take advantage of me. This time, you won't be so lucky. I want to see how you're going to attack me with your soul. Although he had been defeated once, Zhongjihang was still brimming with confidence. As for the matter of Longao breaking through to the sovereign stage, he still did not know. Hence, in Zhongjihang's heart, how could an insignificant transformation realm cultivator be his match? Longao did not say much nonsense. Strike first to gain the initiative. In order to end the battle quickly, Longao rushed out while activating the God Sealing Pearl in his hand. A strange power spread out and enveloped Zhongjihang. Zhongjihang seemed to have been prepared for this. He didn't panic at all. But at this time, Longao used the God-punishing mirror once more, reversing time by 3 seconds. In other words, Zhongjihang's speed had slowed down by 3 seconds, but Longao's speed had increased by 3 seconds. In a battle between experts, sometimes 3 seconds was enough to determine the outcome of the battle. The flow of time had been changed. The battle had not yet begun, but Zhongjihang found that he had already become passive. While Zhongjihang was in a daze, Longao seized this rare opportunity to use a soul attack. Under normal circumstances, Zhongjihang would be prepared. If Longao continued to use a soul attack, there would only be one result, and that was a soul attack backlash. However, the current situation was completely different. Zhongjihang had never seen such a situation where the flow of time was changed. He had long been scared out of his wits, and Longao had taken advantage of the loophole and successfully launched another soul attack. This time, Longao did not show any mercy. As the saying goes, if one does not remove the roots when cutting the weeds, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. Longao, you dare! The Golden Sun sect's elder roared. However, before the other elders could come to his rescue, Dugu Bai had already rushed forward. Now that things had reached this stage, the Blazing Flame sect and the others did not dare to intervene. Zhongjihang's strength was there for all to see. He was a peak earthly sovereign, but he was defeated by Longao in one move. Not to mention, Longao had Dugu Bai by his side. The thought of these two killing gods together was terrifying. It was precisely because they were afraid of Longao and Dugu Bai that everyone was just watching and did not plan to intervene. Longao, who was preparing to kill Zhongjihang, suddenly had countless thoughts flash through his mind. If he killed Zhongjihang this time, the Golden Sun sect would definitely be driven into a corner. It was fine for him, but what about his family? As one of the 6 major sects, the Golden Sun sect's strength and foundation were there for all to see. After thinking about it, Longao did not kill Zhongjihang in the end. However, he would not let Zhongjihang off so easily. After 3 consecutive soul attacks, Zhongjihang let out a miserable cry and fell to the ground. Stopping Dugu Bai, Longao sneered and said, "Take your young master and leave. Remember, from now on, do not provoke me. Otherwise, I will personally pay a visit to the Golden Sun sect. Get lost." Although this elder of the Golden Sun sect was also a Dao ancestor, there was still a big gap between his strength and Dugu Bai's. He took a deep look at Longao and did not say anything. He picked up the unconscious Zhongjihang, turned around and left. In a short while, he had already disappeared without a trace. Longao, we can ignore the grudge between you and Zhong Zhihang. However, you must hand over the spiritual vein. Otherwise, although Hu Teng did not finish his words, the meaning of his words was very clear. There were 4 major sects here: the Ghost King sect, the Bloodsea sect, the Thunder Wind sect, and the Flame sect. Once they joined forces, could the Red Fire Town resist them? No matter how powerful the Sound of Thunder sect was, it was impossible for them to fight 1 against 4. Therefore, Longao and Dugu Bai both knew this. Hu Teng, I will tell you now that there is no such thing as a spiritual vein. There are only spirit stones, and there are only 2 of them. I found these spirit stones, so I will keep 1 of them. You can deal with the other one by yourselves. As for who wants to cause trouble, I, Longao, will accompany you. While speaking, Longao threw out the spiritual stone that he had prepared long ago. It was the size of a brick. However, even so, the 4 major sects had a common enemy just now. Now that there was only 1 spiritual stone, the 4 major sects rushed to fight for it. As for the other spiritual stone in Longao's hand, the 4 major sects did not even dare to think about it. This was a deterrent. If anyone comes to cause trouble in the future, kill without mercy. Leaving these words, Longao led Dugu Bai and Xia Jun into the Thundercloud City. As for the 4 major sects, they did not care about Longao at all. They were fighting for the only spiritual stone with all their might. Feng Kai carried Zhong Zhihang's body and flew quickly towards the Golden Sun sect. Feng Kai knew very well that the young master's soul was severely injured. If it could not be repaired in time, then even if he recovered in the future, he would become an idiot or have a great impact on his martial path. Who is it? Get out here. Feng Kai was shocked. As a Dao ancestor martial artist, Feng Kai was very confident in his own strength. Unless it was a nihility martial artist, he did not need to fear anyone. Feng Kai, you are a good dog. Unfortunately, you will never be able to go back. Looking at the middle-aged man who suddenly appeared, Feng Kai's face instantly turned gloomy. He said seriously, Ghost King, the Ghost King sect and the Golden Sun sect are relatives by marriage. If the sect knows what you are doing, aren't you afraid of causing a war between the 2 sects? Ghost King Ao Tian. That's right. The person who suddenly appeared was the Ghost King sect's master, Ao Tian. He sneered and said, if you die, who will know that it was me? Feng Kai, if you want to blame someone, blame yourself as an elder of the Golden Sun sect. Don't blame anyone else. Without giving Feng Kai any chance, Ghost King Ao Tian suddenly attacked. Feng Kai's face instantly turned pale as he shouted, Prime Martial Artists. P.S. Battle God Sect Group, 2171353300. Welcome to the group. Chapter 223. Prime Martial Artist. Feng Kai never thought that Ghost King Ao Tian would be a prime martial artist. Everyone knew that Ghost King Ao Tian was a venerable. Not only that, but the master of the 6 great sects were all venerables. But now, a prime martial artist. Ghost King Ao Tian was very strong. He did not give Feng Kai any chance. He slapped Feng Kai's head. Without any resistance, the Ghost King laughed sinisterly. He glanced at Zhong Zhihang and muttered to himself, consider yourself unlucky. Longao did not know that Zhong Zhihang was killed. Scarlet Fire Town, Long Family Main Hall. Big Brother Dugu, Brother Xia, are you here for something? Looking at the 2 who wanted to speak but stopped, Longao was very confused. It had only been 5 days since they parted in Thundercloud City. Could it be that the 2 of them missed him again? Xia Jun sighed deeply and said in an extremely serious voice, Brother Long, I will ask you a question now. You have to answer me honestly. Seeing Xia Jun so serious, Longao became even more curious. He nodded and said, ask away. Brother Long, 5 days ago, after you defeated Zhong Zhihang, did you chase after him? Shaking his head, Longao asked, Brother Xia, why do you ask? Longao's intuition told him that something big must have happened when Xia Jun asked this question. Could it be that something happened to Zhong Zhihang? If that was the case, then it would be very troublesome. After all, Zhong Zhihang was the young master of the Golden Sun sect. If something happened to him, the Golden Sun sect would definitely not let it go. Brother Long, I believe you have guessed it. His heart skipped a beat. Longao still asked with uncertainty, did something really happen to Zhong Zhihang? Xie Jun nodded and said, since Zhong Zhihang left Thundercloud City, he never returned. After 2 days, we finally found his corpse in a barren mountain. There was also Feng Kai's corpse. Feng Kai, an elder of the Golden Sun sect, a Dao ancestor. Longao knew that to be able to kill a Dao ancestor without anyone noticing, and that Elder Feng did not even have a chance to escape, this already showed how strong this person was. Void warriors. Brother Xie, I can tell you clearly that I did not kill Zhong Zhihang. If I wanted to kill him, he would not even be able to walk out of Thundercloud City. Xie Jun nodded and said, of course I believe you, but the Gold Sun sect will definitely not believe you. Brother Long, if nothing unexpected happens, the Gold Sun sect will definitely blame you for this. How could Longao not know what Xie Jun was worried about? Now, it didn't matter who killed Zhong Zhihang. The most important thing was that this person had ulterior motives. It was obvious that this person wanted to frame him. Who could it be? Brother Long, it seems that the person who killed Zhong Zhihang wants to kill you. Dugu Bai's expression was also very solemn. He knew very well how terrifying the strength of an expert who could kill a Dao ancestor martial artist was. Void Realm martial artists generally did not participate in worldly battles, but who was it that wanted to deal with Brother Long? Dugu Bai and Xie Jun couldn't figure it out. If the other party could kill Kai Feng so easily, why didn't he deal with Longao himself? Why did he choose to frame him? Brother Dugu, Brother Xie, what's the attitude of the Gold Sun sect? I can't figure it out. Since Zhong Zhihang's body was transported back, the Gold Sun sect acted as if nothing had happened. But Brother Long, I can tell you for sure that the Gold Sun sect will not give up. Brother Long, you don't know. Zhong Mo only had one son, so he loved him very much. Now that Zhong Zhihang is dead, I believe that Zhong Mo will definitely come to you to settle accounts. Longao nodded. He was also sure about this, but he was not sure about the time. What does the Gold Sun sect mean? Brother Dugu, Brother Long, do you think that the reason why Zhong Mo didn't take action is because of the 9 States Battle of the 9 States? The 9 States Battle of the 9 States was held once every 10 years. No matter how big the grudges were, the 6 sects would temporarily put aside and join forces to participate in the 9 States Battle of the 9 States. However, Longao shook his head and said, I always feel that this matter is not that simple. Zhong Mo can't be so calm. He must be scheming something. I agree with Brother Long. Zhong Mo's only son is dead. He can't be so calm. Brother Long, why don't you take your family and leave first? How could Longao not know about Xie Jun's worries? Take the family and leave the Red Fire town? Dugu Bai waved his hand and said, this is not a long-term solution. Even if Brother Long can hide for a while, you can't hide forever. So we have to find a way to solve this matter. Brother Dugu, what should we do now? There's only one way, which is to go back and find the master. I hope that the sect will intervene. With the deterrence of the sect, I believe that Zhong Mo won't act recklessly. Dugu Bai was very confident. As long as the sect intervened, the Gold Sun sect would not dare to act recklessly. Xie Jun smiled helplessly and said, Big Brother Dugu, it's not like you don't know Father's temperament. Father won't do anything that doesn't benefit him. Moreover, even if Father agrees to this matter, the sect elders won't agree. Longao understood Xie Jun's helplessness. After all, there was no free lunch in this world. Why should the Sound of Thunder sect help him? Even if the Gold Sun sect was not as strong as the Sound of Thunder sect, the Sound of Thunder sect would not start a war with the Gold Sun sect for an outsider. There was no doubt about this. Dugu Bai punched the air and said angrily, Brother Long, I won't leave the Red Fire town during this time. I want to see what kind of tricks the Gold Sun sect is playing. Brother Long, before the Wind Cloud Battle of the 9 States starts, Brother Dugu and I won't leave the Red Fire town. Even if the sect doesn't intervene, we will face the Gold Sun sect together with you. It would be a lie to say that he was not moved. However, Longao could not implicate his friends, let alone hurt them. He said with a smile, Brother Dugu, Brother Shia, the wind cloud battle of the 9 states is about to start. You'd better go back and prepare. You don't have to worry about me. I'll take care of it myself. Longao's meaning was clear to Dugu Bai and Shia Jun, but they had obviously made up their minds. They said in unison, we've made up our minds. Please arrange a residence for us as soon as possible. Since things had come to this point, Longao had no choice but to get up and arrange a residence for them. Brother Dugu, do you think the Gold Sun sect will come? I'm 100% sure. If nothing goes wrong, Zhongmo will deal with Brother Long before the wind cloud battle of the 9 states starts. If Zhongmo really wants to deal with Brother Long, I'm afraid we won't be able to resist the attack of the Gold Sun sect with our strength. Brother Dugu, I've already told my father about this. We'll know the sect's decision tonight. Chapter 224. Dugu Bai and Shia Jun did not leave Chihua town, but stayed in the Long family. Longao was very grateful to Dugu Bai and Shia Jun. This kind of friend was worth having no matter what. As for Zhong Zhihang's matter, Longao found his grandfather and told him in detail. After listening, Long Haosha was also very dignified. The Golden Sun sect was like a behemoth in front of them. Ao, what are you going to do? Grandfather, it's obvious that someone deliberately framed me. But no matter what, the Golden Sun sect will solve this before the 9-state storm battle, so we must find a way to solve it as soon as possible. Long Haosha nodded and said, You're right. Zhong Zhihang was killed, and Zhong Mo will certainly not delay for too long. In my opinion, the Golden Sun sect will deal with you in less than 10 days. After thinking about it, Long Haosha continued, Ao, now there are only 2 ways. First, we withdraw from Chihua town. Second, we confront the Golden Sun sect. Long Ao did not speak, but listened quietly, because he knew that since his grandfather had said so, he must have thought of a way. Ao, if the Golden Sun sect attacks the family, how confident are we to resist? Almost none. Yes, as the saying goes, a wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. We don't need to confront the Golden Sun sect head-on. In the future, when our family becomes stronger, it will not be too late to take revenge. Ao, what do you think? Choose to avoid. To be honest, Long Ao was not willing to avoid unless it was a last resort. But he knew very well that not only himself, but the whole family was behind him. No matter what happened, he did not want to hurt the family. Grandfather, how long will it take for all of us to leave? For some reason, Long Ao always felt that this matter was not so simple. After all, Zhong Zhihang was dead, Zhong Mo's only son was dead, but Zhong Mo chose to remain silent. Was it normal? This was obviously not normal, so Long Ao was so nervous. 10 days. 10 days, Long Ao's heart thumped. There were less than 15 days before the 9-state storm battle. He believed that Zhong Mo would not exceed this time, so 10 days was still too long. Grandfather, we have 3 days at most. Far from enough. How about this? Everyone in the clan can choose to evacuate. As for the loot, it doesn't matter. As long as we are alive, we will definitely rise again in the future. Until now, Long Ao still couldn't figure out who was trying to frame him and use the power of the Golden Sun sect to deal with him. This was also the most surprising thing for Long Ao. Feng Kai was a high-level Dao ancestor. Even Dugu Bai would not be able to kill Feng Kai without anyone noticing. If that was the case, it was easy to guess that the person who killed Feng Kai was an Nihility expert. It was precisely because of this that Long Ao could not figure out. Since this person was so powerful, why did he still borrow the power of the Gold Sun sect? Why didn't he deal with him personally? Unless the Fire Chelin personally made a move, no one in the entire clan would be a match for a Nihility realm warrior. Long Ao and Long Haosha discussed for an entire night before coming up with a compromise. That was to reduce the time limit from 10 days to 5 days. Within 5 days, everyone from the Long family would leave Scarlet Fire Town. In the small courtyard, Longao quietly sat on the ground and looked at the stars in the sky. Scenes unceasingly flashed through his mind. It was as if he was acting in a TV show. From the beginning to the end, from the moment he left the Red Fire Town until now, who would want to shift the blame to him? Who could it be? After thinking about it, Longao still could not figure out who wanted to frame him. Could it be the people of the 6 great sects? In the end, Longao could only think of such a result. In the Tianju, the 6 great sects were above the secular world. They were the strongest existences in the Tianju. If there were Nihility Realm Warriors, there was no doubt that there were Nihility Realm Warriors in the 6 great sects. If that was the case, the 6 great sects would all be suspicious. In the Golden Sun sect, although Zhong Mo was the master, it was inevitable that he would provoke a strong enemy. Perhaps Zhong Mo's enemy really seized the opportunity to kill Zhong Zhihang and did not intend to frame him. The 6 great sects, the Ghost King sect, the Blood Sea sect, the Wind Thunder sect, the Golden Sun sect, the Flame sect, the Sound of Thunder sect. Every sect was a suspect. Who was Martial Uncle? In the Dragon Seal space. Long Fu, if a person has been dead for 8 or 9 days, do you still have a way to seize his soul? Impossible, at most 10 minutes. His last glimmer of hope was shattered. It seemed that it would not be easy to find out who was trying to frame him. Master, you're in trouble? Nodding his head, Longao naturally would not hide anything from Long Fu. He told him everything in detail. After listening, Long Fu silently nodded his head. There was not the slightest expression on his face. Master, are you worried that the Golden Sun sect will come looking for trouble? Yes. Master, I can't do anything about this. I'm sorry, I can't help you. Fuck, Longao, who never cursed in a low voice and did not continue to stay. After leaving the Dragon Seal space, Longao did not have the heart to cultivate, but continued to think about the problem. The next day, early in the morning, before Longao could figure out who framed him, Longao anxiously found him and said straightforwardly, this morning, the Sound of Thunder sect and the Ghost King sect announced to the world at the same time. From now on, the 2 sects will protect our Chihua town. With the protection of the 2 sects, I believe that the Golden Sun sect will not dare to mess around. The Sound of Thunder sect and the Ghost King sect. Longao seemed to be a little surprised, but he did not feel surprised. Instead, he became more dignified. He always felt that something was wrong with this matter, and now it was even more wrong. As for what was wrong, he could not tell. The Sound of Thunder sect and the Ghost King sect came out to protect us. Are you not happy? Long Haosha was very surprised. He did not know what was wrong with his grandson today. Grandpa, I'm fine. There are just some things that I don't understand. Without continuing to talk to his grandfather, Longao was still hiding in the small courtyard alone, quietly thinking. The Sound of Thunder sect and the Ghost King sect, were they really willing to go to war with the Golden Sun sect for him? Longao was very clear that there was no such thing as a free lunch in the sky. It was possible for the 6 sects, but he still did not know who it was. Among the people he knew, there did not seem to be such a level of existence. Longao was very upset, because the root of all this was because he did not have the strength. If he was also a supreme warrior now, even if he was framed, what was there to be afraid of? You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,